Hey, what is up? What is up? Sorry. There I am. Okay. What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday at 4 o'clock Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time, and this is the Death Rattle podcast. I am your host, Kanan Becker. Unfortunately, DJ is running a little late, but I believe he will still be here, just running a little late is all. So, how are you guys doing? How is everybody? I've been sick as a dog the last week. It's been no fun at all. So, what is up, John, Joe, Greet? Let's see who else we got. We got Dominic, Ralph, Kyle, Heather, Vorpal, all the usual suspects. So I hope everybody had a great week. I was able to see a couple really great movies last week that I at least really enjoyed. I'm going to drop a video Friday morning. I'm trying to finish it up so any channel members for the Ghost Pirate channel or patrons will hopefully get it a little bit early Thursday night. But either way, it'll definitely be up for everybody on Friday, fairly like in the morning. But it's another highly recommended list. But there's, what is it, 3 new movies? Yeah, 3 new movies on it. I was able to, so a sneak peek to anybody if you don't like, not surprise you with the list, but there'll be me talking about, let's see, what was it? What do we got? Hold on, let me look at my list. Mickey 17, which I was able to see last week, Novocaine, which I saw at an early screener, and the one I'm the most excited about, The Rule of Jenny Penn. I was blown away by this movie. I love it. It's so good. It's done by the same filmmaker. Let me look it up so I can tell you his name. But he did a movie on Netflix a couple years ago called Coming Home in the Dark. His name is James Ashcroft, and he's from New Zealand. And he, like I said, did Coming Home in the Dark on Netflix a couple years ago, and I've been raving about that movie for the last few years. And I had no idea that this was his newest movie. I just went and saw it, was blown away, looked up who did it, and was just like, holy shit, it's the same guy, James Ashcroft. So yeah, he is the director of The Rule of Jenny Penn, and it's the same author that the adaptation is from the same author adapted into a movie that he used for The Rule of Jenny Penn as well as Coming Home in the Dark. So if you liked Coming Home in the Dark, this is different. Like, this is not quite as dark and disturbing. Coming Home in the Dark is a super bleak, very dour, melancholy kind of movie. And this one isn't to that extreme, but it is still very powerful. And at least for me, it hit home like pretty hard because, like, I've been dealing with a lot of medical stuff the last couple of years. And as you get older, and start to face your own mortality, just the thought of being at that vulnerable place in your life when you're still alive, but you can't do much of anything for yourself anymore. And it's kind of ironic because I saw this movie and then the next day got violently ill and have been really sick with this stomach thing that I get from time to time that's diabetic related. But it was wild because when I get this sick with this, it's like I can't barely move. I can't do anything. I'm basically just doubled over in pain. And it just kind of made this movie even more profound to me because just this feeling of helplessness and vulnerability. And this movie translates that so well. So yeah, I think it's phenomenal. But what are you guys saying? Let's see. I got a lot of highs. Has anybody else seen The Rule of Ginny Pen? It's in theaters right now, and coming to net or Shutter. Coming to Shutter the end of the month, the 27th, I want to say. I would go out and see it in the theater if you can, like especially if you're a film nut like I am, like indie film nut. It's not a scary movie. It's not that kind of horror movie. It's a dread-filled kind of movie that just like gets under your skin and sticks with you, and then it has a lot of, a lot of dark layers to it, and it's definitely in that horror psychological thriller world. So I don't think it's a slow burn. As strange as that sounds, I don't really think it's a slow burn, Vorpal. It's like because there's constantly stuff going on, and John Lithgow is so over the top and charismatic and so much fun to watch and is constantly doing fucked up shit in this movie. So it's like I don't know. It didn't feel slow whatsoever to me. It's not slowly building to anything. It's just a constant reign of him just being like constantly upping his levels of depravity and just, yeah. I mean, he is like, if you're a fan of John Lithgow, you have to see this movie. But what is it? Jeffrey Rush, or is it Jeffrey Rush? Why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? It's Jeffrey. Yeah, Jeffrey Rush is absolutely amazing in it as well. Like, it's just, I think it's a great movie. Like, honestly, it might be my number one movie this year at this point. I think it actually is. Like, I won't say it's the most fun movie or exciting movie or, there's different, but like as far as film, like if I was to make a ranking right now, it would be my number one, I think. What's up, Leslie? Citizen Steve or Sleeve. I would say Steve, but it's Sleeve. Nightingale Widow, what's up? All right, let's see. I've been sick for days. Also, my brother, it has sucked. Yeah, it's shitty. It's not fun at all. All I've been doing the last couple days is like I've been so like when I get this sick, it sucks. It's like you would think I would be able to take advantage of it and just watch a lot of movies, but it isn't that way. I end up just watching gobbledygook, just YouTube rabbit holes, a lot of nature stuff. Like I can't watch any of the stuff that I normally watch because I can't really pay attention to it, and I just need something to like I don't know, that doesn't really bother me in any way, like happy, sad, like it just kind of, like I don't like junk food TV. I like learning kind of stuff. So a lot of like science stuff. But unfortunately, once I got sick, I haven't really watched much in the way of horror the last couple days. I did also see um Night of the Zoopocalypse, which I'll talk about probably in next week's video. But I loved that movie too. Like if you have kids and you're looking for a fun entryway horror cartoon kind of thing, like it's awesome. Like I loved it. It's a little slow going and like getting going, but once it gets going, like I was just blown away by the visuals of that. Like it's some of the coolest, creepy, gross looking kid movie stuff. Like the alien monsters are just this weird translucent looking. Like I was just blown away by the animation. Like they did such a good job with it, and it's just fun. It's not anything like super serious, but I really enjoyed it. I mean, Vorpal, some people might call it a slow burn. I mean, like, if you don't like to think, then, I mean, it's a movie that makes you think and makes you feel. Like, I wouldn't classify it in that slow burn category. My real name is Steve. That's funny. I guess I've been calling you by the right name, just didn't know it. See, The Eyes of My Mother is a lot of fun and get to feeling better, Kanan. I'm getting there. I'm on the mend. It's a stomach thing, and it just it takes me days for it to just completely pass. Like when it flares up, it's like a week-long battle kind of thing. But I'm at least able to eat again, and I have a little bit of energy. Not a lot, but a little bit. See, John Lithgow does super dark stuff. His face can go from comedic to crazy. Yeah, and he's all over the map in this. He's just such a great person, like a casting. If you want a crazy villain that is also funny in a dark comedic way, and that's what he is in this. Like he's just so much fun to watch in this movie. Like it's one of those that most people won't like, not most, but a lot of people won't find it funny, but there's definitely dark humor in it. And like some scenes that have me just cracking up. Question: when is DJ sliding in? I want to hear you guys argue. I don't know. He said he would be like 10 minutes late and was like, hey, go ahead and start without me. But the dick gave me like no time. So I like didn't have any of this set up because I thought it was set up. Didn't realize it wasn't set up. So I'm like, oh shit. Like it's like, so you guys didn't get your normal warning of it be like I was going live or anything. So, but whatever. I understand. Work stuff happens. So no hate. John Lithgow will always be the crazy guy who said, laugh while you can, monkey boy. Yeah, I love John Lithgow. He is honestly one of my favorite actors of all time. Like the Trinity Killer of Dexter, that season is my favorite season of Dexter, and he is my favorite antagonist of any of them from any of the seasons of Dexter. And I love Dexter, and there's a lot of great villains in it, but the Trinity Killer is incredible. What's up, Wolf Bane? It's not that I forget. I just the little chat thing starts moving, and I can't get to everybody. But what's up, James Hughes? That is, and Ruckus, B Movie Theater. But also, you guys got to remember, I can barely see the screen. Like I'm leaned if I lean any more forward, you won't be able to hear me. But like I could barely see my stupid screen, and if I try to use this like I do when I go my normal lives, then I won't see any of you that are on the Death Rattle podcast chat. So like I have to do it from the computer, but I'm like, I can't get any closer really to it without being like this. I'm not going to do that to you guys. Nobody wants to see my ugly face that close. Yes, Lithgow is a legend. Absolutely. So what about you guys? What were you guys like? What have you guys seen this past week? Anything good to recommend me? Yay, I was acknowledged. You're a dork, James. Yeah, it's still fairly early in my day over here. Like the daylight saving things didn't help either because like I got sick at the same time daylight savings went down, and so like I'm waking up and I feel like, oh my god, it's super late in the day. What the hell? And I'm like, oh shit. There's speak of the devil.
I'm here. I'm finally here.
About damn time.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I was talking hell of shit about you.
Good. I deserve it. Let me.
Because you left me hanging, dude.
Did you not get my?
Like, I didn't. You didn't warn me. Like, so I didn't know it wasn't set up. So I'm all sitting here. I'm like, oh, okay, no biggie. I'll just hit.
Oh yeah, I didn't
start stream, and then I realized I'm like, oh shit, I don't have the thumbnail, and so I just because I don't have the One of these days, I need you to send me the Photoshop version of so I can make my own.
We can. Yeah, I can. I'm sorry. I've been.
No, don't apologize. I'm giving you a hard time.
No, it's
like
okay.
I told them it's work shit. It happens, So.
Lag out. Okay,
but yeah,
I'm getting on the correct internet, so just give me a second.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see. Aren't we all supposed to be on the Death Rattle? Yeah, I mean, I prefer it if everybody goes over to the Death Rattle stream. But we are also on the Ghost Pirate channel stream as well. So, and I'm not hating on anybody for that either. So
yeah, we're not streaming.
We do appreciate it. We do.
Twitch.
Twitch. I know I didn't see Twitch in there.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I probably just missed it, but I was like trying to hurry, you know what I mean? Because I had to also figure out how to do the little mute. I didn't know where you get the music from. So I was oh shit.
Yeah.
I was looking for a video. I thought it was a little video that you play. And then I realized, oh no, it's just, you're just simply play the music and take us away. So anyway, I figured it out. It was fine, but I was just scrambling trying to. So I didn't see the Twitch stream, but I just missed it.
It's fine. It's okay. Let me, I'm trying to get all my stuff together. So for those of you who don't know, which why would you? Oh my gosh.
What?
I had to sign out of all my stuff recently. I'm not going to be able to.
So they're remembering passwords?
Yeah.
Oh, so is that why it's not there? So I wasn't tripping, right? It wasn't there.
It might be. I don't know.
I didn't see it. I saw your Facebook and I saw Bloodscribe and I saw I don't know. But yeah, I didn't see Twitch. I purposely looked for it because I know that we always try to stream from the 3 sources, but
yeah.
Oh well.
Yes, but everybody should
our one Twitch person will be pissed.
This is my cat. He wants to say hi to everybody. So that's hi to my cat.
It's not even dinner time. What is he coming around for?
I haven't been home all day.
Oh, okay.
I
wish I had a cat.
Like I was saying, well, you can get one. Just go to your local dumpster.
I can't. My sister's like deathly allergic to
that sucks.
And so I can't have one in the house.
I'm changing the quality. I'm still lagging. What is going on here?
Oh, I had it at 1080p, huh?
No, it's fine. We always do 1080p. So I have to change my camera resolution until my internet catches up. But anyway, so like I was going to say, so my day job, for those of you who don't know, is I do video production for clients. So I do restaurant videos. Okay. All right. So I do restaurant videos, which is what I was doing today. I do commercial videos, any kind of video production. So if you guys watch a commercial or anything like that, that's the kind of work that I do as my job. I'm a freelancer, so it's all client based. And so I was at a restaurant. I was at a Mediterranean restaurant today, and they just kept bringing out food and drinks to get shots of. And I was like, guys, I've already been over a half
Did they
hour.
Let you eat any of it?
Yes, and that's what I'm eating. My dinner My dinner is Mediterranean food. They gave me 2 boxes full of food. I got lamb. I got a bunch of stuff that I can't pronounce. I got this spaghetti and meatballs looking stuff, and they also made me Turkish coffee, which is that is a
tar.
Yeah, that's a taste I have not had before, but I loved it.
Yeah,
but
really
yes,
good, but it's super super potent.
JB's been a member for 3 months on the Ghost Pirate side. Thank you, JB.
That's why I have been sick for the last 5 days.
Because you ate Mediterranean food?
I had a cup of coffee.
What? It was bad coffee?
No, it's just my stomach. Sometimes something that's a little bit acidic or whatever will just set me off, man. And it's like someone stabbing me in my stomach for days and days and days, and I can't eat.
Gosh,
it's no fun. Yeah, throwing up, can't stop throwing up. It's
so anyway. Not to downplay your sickness. I'm sorry. I hope you get better.
No. But I'm just saying, it's just coffee.
If you are on the Ghost Pirate side, please come over to the Death Rattle side. We are trying to get and I'm going to link it again in the chat, in the Ghost Pirate chat. We are trying to get everybody.
Are we at 100 subs yet?
We're over 100 subs.
Yay!
So yay for
500 now.
We're trying to get 500, but we're trying to get all the attention over there. We don't want. It's not that we don't want to stream on the Ghost Pirate side. It's just his channel is not for this content. So it's like
the algorithm.
The algorithm is like probably screwing his channel every time we do this, and so that's why he's so generous.
No, it doesn't really hurt. It doesn't really seem like it hurts the other stuff, but it absolutely doesn't promote the podcast at all.
Right. So we want to get everybody over there. But anyway, so
so
forgive me, guys.
How it works is once we can get the podcast site, like we had to rebrand it and all that, which starts a lot of this stuff over. So it's like really, and it takes like at least a year of regularly uploading for the algorithm to start kind of understanding the content you make and what people will like it. And so the only way for this podcast to ever grow is for that YouTube channel to grow.
Right.
You know?
And there was something I also wanted to address, but I can't remember. But somebody said, sorry. B Movie Theater said if there are people there, I'll go say hi. There are 18 people on the Death Rattle side right now, and there's 23 on Ghost Pirate. So we're almost 50-50. So if everybody goes over to the Death Rattle, then you're going to be able to see everybody's chats. And that's also why I try to bring up almost every chat like this, just so that everybody can see what everybody's talking about. But it's hard sometimes because y'all get off on your conversation.
Did you drop the link to go to the Death Rattle?
I did drop the link. It's right here in the Ghost Pirate chat. Just click that link. Cool. And you can do that. Mediterranean food is awesome. So sorry, guys. I'm sorry that this is an eating stream for me. Just don't watch it every time I take a bite. But I have not eaten since 12 o'clock today, and it is 7:24 my time.
Dude,
and,
Pete, do you realize that there are literally YouTube channels that are just about going and watching people eat?
And it's disgusting, and I hate it.
No, it's not.
There is nobody. There is
like
nobody that I want to watch eat. Unless I'm on a date, but even then, I'm not trying to watch them.
Professional eaters. I'm not a fan of mukbang, but I am a big fan of food channels, like people that go and review food, just like I do.
But that's more than just eating. That's more than just like, hey, watch me eat my.
Yes, exactly. I'm not a fan of mukbang, but I'm just saying, like, you can eat without it being disgusting. Like the way you're eating right now is just fine. It's like it's only an issue if you're chewing and you're all like some of these people. I'm just like,
but
I want to jump through the screen.
There's these weirdos that are into that ASMR stuff, mukbang, whatever you're talking about. But like people will just chew into a microphone, and it is grating to me. I don't get why people are into that.
It's a sexual thing, dude. Like, I wouldn't say from what I do know, it's not exactly sexual, but there is a weird like it's not like they get off on it in a sexual way, but they do get off on it in like there's something alluring about it. It's hard to explain because I'm not, but it's like a fetish, and like fetishes aren't always about like sexual gratification, but they are about like scratching an itch in a weird way. And the mukbang is one of those. It's very, big in the fetish community as well as ASMR. And like I like a certain type of ASMR, like the kind, not the ones like the food or whatever, but like, have you ever listened to different kinds of podcasts at night where it'll be like a soothing voice, female or
I also don't like that.
Talking about something interesting, or it's only when I want to go to sleep. There's like a soothingness to it. So it doesn't. Yeah, that's when I'm actually gonna sleep. I'm talking about like something like I'll listen to like a podcast or something with somebody that has like an older man, like a dark, like I love Coast to Coast AM for that.
Yes,
because like Art Bell had the best voice of all time.
Coast to Coast is just
what I'm saying is, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like there is an element of that is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? There is an element of like it's scratching that itch, like there's a soothingness to it. So I can kind of understand, but I'm not someone that like the whole You know,
Stop.
you know
I
what
cannot
I mean?
do
Like,
it.
I hate
I
that
cannot
stuff.
do it. I
It's
can't
so
do it.
weird. Like, I can't do it.
It is nails on a chalkboard for me. I wish we were streaming on Twitch because I want to talk about this game that I played with my friends yesterday, and I tried streaming it a little bit on the Horror Sucks channel.
So hold on. So you mentioned this game to me earlier.
Yeah.
What platform? Is it Steam?
Steam.
Okay, so you're just playing on PC.
Yeah, it's called Repo, and essentially it's this proximity. It's new. It's newer. It's this. Ow, good lord. It's this proximity chat horror investigation game. So
did you have footage of it you said you could play?
Yeah, I have some footage. I gotta export it. So I can do that right now while
I was
I'm
gonna
talking
say
about
play it without audio so we can kind of see it while you're talking about it.
Well, so you can't really hear the audio because I don't have a digital mixing board essentially. So you can't really hear the audio from the game. Once I get that, which is like it's I think it's I forget what the actual software is called, but once I get that, I'll be able to actually pump in some of the game sounds. But anyway, it's super fun. It's it scares the daylights out of me just because like I get hype to get scared. So when I'm playing a horror game, like I'm ready. So anything scares me in this. But so I'm exporting some highlights of DJ getting scared in Repo. But what I mean by
I think games are by far scarier than movies.
They can be, yeah.
Like as far as if you take the extreme of either, you know, because like to me, you're so much more connected with the game. And this is with me. Movies don't scare me at all anymore, like at all. So, but a game can still absolutely scare me.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's a different.
What was the last one that scared me? John. What was it? Damn it! What's that game about the author? Alan Wake.
Alan Wake, yeah, great game.
Yeah, the newest Alan Wake, the re-release or not re-release, but the remaster or whatever. That's the last game that scared me. The one that's on Xbox now. Like that shit is like they know how to build anticipation so well.
They're great games.
Yep.
Why is this saying it's gonna
have any of you guys played this? The game he's talking about? Let's see what the chat's saying.
My computer's being weird.
Leslie says Turkish coffee is Rockefeller. Yeah, I mean it's like thicker than regular coffee. It's almost like an espresso
taste.
Yeah. Yep.
What is?
Thank you, JB. Yeah, I talked about Mickey 17, or I talk about it in my video that's coming out on Friday, but I did see it, and it's a movie. Like, okay, first off, DJ will hate it.
I heard it's garbage.
A lot of people think it's garbage. I don't think so at all. I think it's not a perfect movie. It does have like some flaws and things like that, but I don't know. I think if you're someone that loves Starship Troopers,
I do love Starship Troopers,
then I think you could enjoy it because it's got that similar, like the trailer makes it look like a comedy, and it's not. It's much more of the tone of Starship Troopers to me than it is of a comedy, if that makes sense.
I thought Starship Troopers was hilarious.
It is hilarious. So is this. Like, I'm not saying it's not funny, but I'm saying it's not a comedy. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, there is satire in it. It definitely is comedic, but it's not a comedy. And like, they make it look like in the trailer, I swear they just show all the silliness kind of stuff without showing like none of the movie is meant to be taken serious, but I'm just saying it's like not, I don't know. It's not as goofy as they make it look in the trailer, I guess is the best way to put it. Like it is very, like the whole thing is, got a campiness to it and a satirical. I don't know, man. You might actually like it. Like if you enjoy Starship Troopers, you might actually like it. At least, I think you might at least like it like me, where there are things that did bug me about it. There's definitely characters that I wanted to just like jump in the movie and yank out and rewrite. You know what I mean? Like Like especially the Mark Ruffalo. The guy is basically
I keep hearing that he's terrible.
Yeah, he's Trump. He's straight up like
God.
a character of Trump, and it's just like that's low hanging fruit. Like I don't care about the politics of it. Like I love Saturday Night Live, and they make fun of Trump all the time, and I'm like whatever. Like that's fine, but there's a reason for it, right? It's like you're straight up playing the president, and like the Saturday Night Live has done with every president that we've had since that show began. You know, they just make fun of the president. They always do. They make caricatures of them. But this is not him being Trump. It's just he's supposed to be like this dictator type of guy. And he's basically, if you take Elon Musk and marry him with Trump, and then it's this guy. And it's just like, I don't know. It just felt like riveting fruit. Yeah, it just did not work for me. But he's not like, there's really only a few scenes with him where it's like, you know, you're like, oh my God, I'm really annoyed by him, because there's a lot more that happens in the movie. And like, I don't know. It's one of those things, like I said, it's not perfect, but I still really enjoyed it and was very entertained by it. You know?
Well, that's good. I don't really have any interest in seeing it. But if for whatever reason it comes up and I'm watching, then I'll watch.
Yeah, you know, I think you should check it out, because like did you like Bong Joon-ho's
I do like fuck.
His most popular movie, the one on the train. You know who Bong Joon-ho is, right?
Train to Busan?
No.
No, he didn't do that.
The train that is on a constant track in the snow. Snowpiercer.
Oh, Snowpiercer, yeah, and he also did. Parasite. Yeah, yep. I liked. I thought those were good movies.
My favorite movie he did is his creature feature one. Anyway, this has elements of Snowpiercer, but it's a lot, but it's more silly. And it is definitely more leaning into that campy B-rated movie. You know, it is going for more of that than it is Snowpiercer, but it has a lot of that same dystopian classism and that whole thing. And that's a lot of what this is. It's basically, they go to like this, basically this politician guy who, like I said, is played by Mark Ruffalo. He's basically doing bad in the polls. And so he gets this idea of taking a bunch of people on a ship and colonizing a new planet, right? To make him look like a big shot and make him popular kind of thing. So he gets a bunch of these people together and goes out there. Where Mickey 17 comes into play is that they basically have a law where we have the ability to basically continue to bring someone back to life by you basically copy their mind, right? And you just print out a new body and put that mind back into the body. But because of people, like, yeah, people about it, people don't like it, right? And so they're trying to experiment in a way of how can we use this? And so they make people called expendables who sign away their life, so to speak. Like they are allowed to continually be brought back. But just anybody and everybody can't be that, right? It's only like this person that chooses to have that job, so to speak. And so you can only have one person like that per colonizing ship. And Mickey 17, you know, Mickey, the reason it's 17 is because it's the 17th version of him when some shit goes down and he's made into, there's a copy of himself made. And now there's this dilemma.
Wasn't this a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mickey 7.
Mickey 7 was the book. And so they made Mickey 17. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And from what I know, as much as it feels very on the nose in a lot of ways, Mark Ruffalo's character, he's playing the character the way it was written from what I've been told. So I don't know what year the book came out. It might have been around the time of Trump's first administration, but I don't think they were purposely trying to be like, hey, we're, making this character, as far as the movie goes, to be a Trump like character. It's like, it kind of makes sense, but it just felt like low hanging fruit. And I felt like you could have done it without it being so on the nose that you're basically like, this guy is very, very similar, like I said, to like Elon and Trump. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, if anybody, it's one of those things that's going to immediately date the movie, was a lot of what bothered me about it.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those, like, in 5 years from now, you'll look at it and be like, it's just ridiculous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, of course, all these Hollywood people were all bent out of shape over Trump and Elon Musk. And it's like, I'm not even talking about the politics of it. It's just the way that it looks. Because there's a way to handle things that it isn't. You can have a political statement. You can have without it being like heavy-handed.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me, is where it's like a movie will do something like this, and now immediately anybody that is a Trump supporter is immediately going to kind of be annoyed by that element of this movie, and the opposite. And so a movie like this might not get a fair shake because of anybody, like, you know what I mean? Like, that becomes the narrative. And that is what I've been hearing a lot of people say. And like, it's overshadowing a lot of what's great here. So,
well, then just sounds like the movie just decided to shoot itself in the foot. And
it does. It does. And that's why I'm saying that one thing. But if you look past that, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's actually not a bad movie at all. There's a lot you can, there's a lot. I just
didn't have any. I just,
like I said,
I just didn't have any interest in seeing it when I watched it.
But the movie that you missed me talking about, that right now I think is my number one horror movie of the year, is The Rule of Jenny Penn.
The Rule of Jenny Penn.
Yes, this is a movie I will be shocked if you're not a big fan of. Because it's very much about the story. Did you ever see the movie Coming Home in the Dark?
No.
It's one of my favorite, like, dark, disturbing movies that has come out in the last like 5 years. It's on Netflix. It went like straight to Netflix, I believe. But it's a very dark, disturbing movie that's basically about this guy who him and his family get basically kidnapped by these guys as retribution, in a way, for some things he did in his past. And it just takes some twists and turns, because you're not exactly sure, like, if even though these guys are like obviously horrible villains, because they do some pretty heinous stuff right away, you're still just like, I don't know if this is a hero either. Like, the guy whose family gets, kidnapped, you're like, I don't know if he's the, like, you know what I mean? And so it's one of these weird things where, like, I don't want to root for these awful guys that kidnap him and his family, but at the same time, you start finding out things about the guy, and you're like, well, you're kind of a piece of shit too. Yeah. So but anyway, the same director made this new movie called Rule of Jenny Penn, and it stars Jeffrey Rush and damn it. Like, the biggest name in the movie. Oh man, why am I
don't know. And sorry, chat.
John Lithgow.
I've been working this entire time to try to get this video to export, but DaVinci's telling me it's going to take 15 hours. So there's obviously something going on with DaVinci that I can't troubleshoot right now. So sorry. I wish I could show you guys me screaming my head off in repo, but anyway, yeah, anybody that was waiting on that.
Thank you, Jordan.
Here, what's going on, Spud? Oh, sorry. You brought something up.
Yeah, it was just Jordan saying he switched over. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And if you guys are still on Ghost Pirate, which you are, please come over to the Death Rattle side. We are gonna link it again. And
also share.
Yeah. If you think people would like our
numbers up.
If you think people would like this show, please share it with them. Yeah. Let's see what you guys are talking about.
Shit, even if you don't think they'd like it, it doesn't hurt to share.
You would hate these guys. Watch them.
I mean, like, I just, my whole thing is, if you like something, just share it on your socials. Like, that's how I am. I'm not
Man.
telling anybody to like personally be like, hey, if you do have a friend or somebody that, that's different. But I'm just saying, share it on your Twitter feed, share it on your Facebook page.
Citizen Sleeve says, you guys need to play co-op Phasmophobia. Yes, we do. We got to play co-op Phasmophobia, and we got to play co-op Repo. I really want to.
Phasmophobia, isn't that the ghost?
It's the ghost hunting one, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen people play it like online, but I've never played it.
Leslie says, never seen licking ASMR. I'm pretending not to get it. Yeah, well, just don't look it up. Seja says, I agree because you feel more immersed in the game versus a movie. Yeah, there's a lot more immersion in there.
You're just like connected to it because you have to.
You're responsible for what's happening, and that's what scared me most about Resident Evil. When the early Resident Evil games, when I was just a kid, I would turn the game off rather than turn the corner in a hallway.
Yep.
Because I was too petrified to do it.
Yep. I remember so many times just pausing the game and just like walking out of the room and being like, oh my God.
James says, DJ, if you scream like a little girl, you can be famous like Markiplier. I don't. I have a higher scream, but it's more of a yell.
Like, few people on planet Earth have the voice of Markiplier.
I curse.
Like if you have that voice, there is no way you're not going to be successful in this world. Like there's those people that are born with the radio voice that no matter what they do, it doesn't matter what they choose to do, their voice is just that, like
they got that timbre. Yeah.
Yeah.
JB says I'm addicted to Balatro right now. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard of that.
The thing is though, like I think the future is going to be scary as hell because it's not far off before we'll have movies that are basically a video game meets movie with
augmented reality.
VR, with VR.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, like it's already pretty close, but like when you do VR right now, it definitely has a little bit of that, but the quality of what you're seeing isn't quite to that level. Right. But once it's like closer to that movie quality and you're having to interact and you're fully immersed, like holy shit, dude. Like you're gonna have people's hearts stopping.
The future is bright. Let's see. Leslie says, I remember my first scary game, Silent Hill, back in the dark ages. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah. I think that was probably my first too. I think I played Silent Hill before because I played it on the PS1. I think I played that, then Resident Evil.
James says, I love the book. Starship Troopers much better. Yeah, the book. And listen, Robert Heinlein is an amazing writer. If anybody in the chat or you, Kanan, if you haven't read Robert Heinlein, read him. He came up with the concept for the waterbed in his book. And not very good, but the concept
he's done a few, right? Like
yeah. Methuselah's Children and Time Enough for Love are a couple of my favorite books. Mr. Halloween.
There's been other movie adaptations, right?
Oh yeah. Predestination is another movie adaptation of a Robert Heinlein book. And then there's another one that I'm not remembering off the top of my head, but yeah, he's had a
Project Moonbase.
Yeah. Mr. Halloween says horror board games are the best. Are the best. They can be very intense. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, they can. But a big thing with those is you got to be with the right people.
Yeah, that's true.
To make those fun and creepy and all that, it's got to be like a good, and a lot of video games are that way too, like co-op games.
Yeah.
A lot of the best games are the co-op experience ones.
Because you're with the right people. Yeah. Yeah. Dominic says favorite horror movie of 2025 so far. The one that it's a tie between.
I think he's just laughing at me saying it because it's still early in the year.
Oh, I thought. Okay, well then never mind.
Because I said, but I'm telling you, dude. Like at the end of the year, The Rule of Jenny Penn is going to probably be in my top 10. Like it just has that written all over it. It doesn't matter when in the year a movie comes out. Like you could just tell right away if a movie's gonna like it has that like the way when I saw last year when I saw stop motion, I knew it was going to be up there at the end of the year. You'll Never Find Me. Like, I knew You'll Never Find Me was going to be in my top 10 at the end of the year. Like, it has that, but The Rule of Ginny Pan is coming to Shudder on the 27th, like the last week of this month. So it's in theaters. So if you get a chance to see it, and definitely, but, and then I also saw an early screener for Novocaine.
Oh yeah.
And it's a fun movie. It's a stupid humor kind of movie. I definitely can see
the trailers did not make it look good for me.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna love that one, because there isn't a lot of story to it. And like, I've seen a lot of people that were much higher on it than I even was, but it's still a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of like a Lethal Weapon type of thing, but it just doesn't have like what is interesting about it, and what I did like about it is the same thing we both really liked about the Hard Eyes Killer. Like, hold on, didn't you like Hard Eyes Killer?
I loved Hard Eyes.
Yeah, like the same thing that we both appreciated about that, I think this does, but it does it for like an action movie. So there's like it's like a rom-com, but Hard Eyes was like a rom-com mixed with the slasher. This is like a rom-com mixed with an action movie. So but the best thing about it to me is the gore. Like, it goes way harder into the gore than it really needed to. And like, it really surprised me. And I was pleasantly surprised. Nice. Cause like, you see a little bit of that in the trailer, but like, I mean, there's like some shit where he's like pulling nails out of the nail bed. I mean, like some brutal stuff. I was just like, damn.
John Lamb, sorry, I want to answer his question. What's the name of the game? The game that we were talking about is Repo. We're talking about Repo. That's on Steam right now. And then Spud is asking, Kanan, do you game? A little bit, right?
Not a lot. Like, I'd like to game more, but it's one of those things, kind of like with series, it ends up being like a huge time commitment. It's like a movie. You can just sit down and bam, 2 hours later, you've seen that movie. With a series, it's like, once you get into it,
hey, Darkstar,
you kind of need to finish it. If you don't finish the series, then you might not end up going back. And so a series is, you kind of got to binge it. And it's like trying to watch an 8-10 episodes, season can be tough. And a game is the same kind of way, where it's like, a lot of these games are like 40 plus hours. And it's like, if I start playing it and I don't binge it, I'll probably not go back. Cause it's like, I'll end up just playing it for a little bit and not going back. So I don't know. The other thing too is I don't have the greatest eyesight these days, and trying to keep up with the pacing of the games. And then on top of that, my hands, like they get my carpal tunnel gets flared up really fast from playing
Spud
games. So.
Spud, I'm reading from both chats because we're streaming on both the Ghost Pirate side and the Death Rattle side. So I'm reading both chats. So that's why some chats are probably not going to see the others, because y'all are always split. So if y'all come over to the Death Rattle side, you're all going to be able to see everything. But we have one chat on our software that combines the two channels. So that's why I'm able to pull up chats from both channels. But that's so if you're confused, that's what it is. So sorry about that. Wolfenstein 3D and OG Doom on PC was simple and had the jump scares. Yeah.
Dude, Wolfenstein was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved that game so much. So basically the gaming I do now is on my phone.
Oh, Dead Space is so good.
Mess around with a game on my phone for a few minutes and then go back to editing and whatever. So, but I do love Fallout 76. It's a game I always will still play. And if a new Fallout game comes out, I will definitely play it. I did like the new Dead Space. The new remake of that is really good.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten super far into it yet, but
Dominic says, no, I was seriously asking. So I guess I think I want to say, if we're going by 2025 movies, what did I just see that I liked? I would not consider Companion a horror movie. But
yeah,
people
but
are
it's in
telling
that
me that he
same
did.
category as like Abigail, where it's like,
No, I mean, yeah, but I think Companion is more of a soft sci-fi than a horror.
no,
Yes.
no, because there's a lot of like slasher elements and like,
Not really.
yeah, because it ends up being like a chase movie for a lot of it.
Yeah, but you can have a chase movie without it being a slasher. I don't know. I'm it's probably Hard Eyes for me. Like Hard Eyes is probably my best movie of 25 so far. Unless there's something I'm forgetting, but my favorite movie so far for 25 has been Companion. So that was it.
Yeah, I know there's stuff I'm not.
Dominic says for me it's Companion. Well, I don't know why hardly anyone would agree with you. It's a great movie. I just wouldn't consider it horror. I don't know. I wouldn't.
Companion is awesome, man. I love Companion.
It's such a good movie. Ralph says, been in and out for daughter's softball practice. Hate, I'm missing this. It's all right, Ralph. We miss you too, buddy. We'll see you on the next one. Let's see.
Like, I think The Rule of Ginny Penn is my top movie so far. But like, let's see, what else have I seen this year?
I gotta watch it.
Because like, there's been a lot of movies this year that I have liked, but only a couple that I've loved. You know what I mean? Like Companion and Hard Eyes, both movies I love.
B Movie Theater says, as a content creator, gaming takes up a lot of time. It really does.
That's what I'm saying. I had to kind of decide fairly early on where it was like, if I was going to do gaming, then I had to basically do it as part of my content. And I did it for a little bit, but you can't mix those two. Like, it just doesn't work. Like, if you're going to be a game streamer or whatever, like, you got to kind of lean into that. You know, YouTube used to be able to get away with doing like a mixed channel and having like a variety of things. Can't really do that much anymore. That's why you've seen most channels now, they're very much like,
they're niche. They're one trick.
Yeah, they do that one thing, and if they want to do other things, they'll do another channel to do those other things.
James says, Ghost Pirate just called Hard Eyes a rom-com. So Hard Eyes is like When Harry Met Sally? Yes, wrapped in a slasher movie.
Yep.
It hits all of the rom-com tropes, and it does it so well while being a slasher movie. It's fantastic.
And I mean, I'm not a fan of rom-coms. So it's not like you have to be a fan of rom-com to like it either.
No, this is a good movie for horror fans.
Yeah, it's just because the slasher elements are also done very, very well.
Yeah.
I still would put Companion above it, though, as far as those two. Just because the ending of Hard Eyes doesn't quite nail the landing as satisfying.
It's a little rough. It's a little rough, but I think overall it doesn't.
But Companion, the ending is, I mean, there's nothing about Companion. Like, I feel like as much as a lot of people did really enjoy it, I feel like it still hasn't gotten the respect that it deserves. Like, Companion is so good, and it just sucks because so many people like myself had it spoiled by the trailer.
That does suck. Yeah.
Because it's like, if you go, I think it would probably have gotten a full point higher rating kind of thing by most people if they had went into it completely cold.
I'm going to watch this movie with other people. Like, I'm going to introduce this movie to other people. I'm going to be like, we need to watch Companion. Mr. Halloween says, which horror board games have y'all played and favorite? And definitely, you got to have the right people playing and into it. So I think I play board games more than you do, so I'll go first.
Yeah, I haven't played that many.
So my favorite is Betrayal on Hill House and Eldritch Horror. I think.
But see, that's why I was talking about it has to be the right crowd, because like those are like, I've played. What was the first one he said? I know I've played that, and I thought it was cool, but
Betrayal.
Yeah, because everybody I was with wasn't like super into it. It just kind of started to get tedious.
What?
But I was like, I could tell that it's one of those games that if everybody was into it, would be just fucking awesome.
Oh, I loved it. And then Fury of Dracula is, I think, my number one. And what Fury of Dracula is it's a board game where one person is Dracula and everybody else are vampire hunters. And Dracula,
that game is sick. Me and my sister have that game.
Yeah,
actually.
Dracula's hidden on a board. I love being Dracula in that game and laying like traps and like trying to.
It's the one that feels the most like a video game.
Yeah, kind of.
What happened?
What? What do you mean? What happened? Can you hear me?
Oh, it's just my headphones.
Am I dead? Okay, all right. You're welcome for answering your question, John. Death Rattle says, "My name is Death Rattle. What's going on, man?" Thanks for joining the stream. Oh, Quake. Yes, soundtrack by Trent Reznor. Yeah, Quake was a great game.
It's funny. I was looking at like all the movies, the new movies this year, and it's like there's not that many that are like true horror movies this year.
Not yet.
Because like there's been a lot that I've seen and I thought were good, but just because like The Monkey is definitely more of a dark comedy, like a black comedy, than I would say it's a horror movie. Like it's got horror aesthetics, and it is. I would put it in the horror, family in the under that big umbrella, but it's not like a true horror movie. You know what I mean? Like it's much more. The same with Companion, where it's like I would put it under that blanket, but it's much more of a sci-fi thriller than it is horror. It has like horror moments, and I think horror fans will love it. And I feel comfortable talking about it on a horror video or whatever, but it's not like a true cold horror.
Yeah. Jack says, James, it's more like when Harry meets Jason. That's a good one. Wolfbane says, I see. So Companion isn't horror, but the coffee table is? Really? I have not seen.
Oh my god, dude. The coffee table is very horror. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, I need to watch
it. Like,
okay.
The coffee table is definitely labeled as a black comedy, but it's pitch black. It's literally one of the most horrific things that could possibly ever happen. So, like, if that's not horror, I don't understand what your definition of horror is. Like, horror is not scary. Like, that drives me crazy. Like, horror is not, it's not like, oh, it's not scary. Well, it's not horror, or it is scary. It is horror. Like, it's.
Yeah, but everybody thinks so. People have different perspectives on what, I mean, like different things scare different people, right? So when you say that it doesn't,
that's what I'm saying. Like, scary is not like it isn't a qualifier. Like,
it needs to have fear as the
because the coffee table doesn't know, it's not scary in any way. Like, it's not going to scare you. It is one of the most dreadful, terrifying, like, situations that could ever happen to any human.
Okay.
And like, I'm trying to be coy because there's one thing that happens in the movie, and if you know it, it's like ruined.
Yeah, I need to see it.
Yeah, and if it's spoiled for you at this point, it's your own fault, because I'm telling you to watch that movie for like almost a year.
I know. Leslie says my favorite romantic horror is Spring. Yes. Spring.
Oh my god, yeah.
Awesome. It is a great,
beautiful movie.
It is
beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Like, probably the most satisfying ending of a romantic type of horror movie. And yet it's still like, I would confidently, like, that's what's interesting about that movie is it's not a rom-com, and like it does definitely feel like it's a horror movie, but it's one of the few that truly is a romantic horror movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, because you'll have a lot of movies where,
Warm Bodies is a romance.
Yeah, but it's barely a horror movie. It's much more, I mean, it is in the horror family, but like it feels more comedy. Like, it's got a lot of comedy. It's like a rom-com. It's a romantic comedy horror movie.
Yeah, Spring is more dramatic romance. Yeah, Warm Bodies is.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Spring is interesting in that way because it is very much like a horror movie, but it has this really romantic, like, elegance to it. You know, like it's just so well written. Like the characters are so good in that movie.
Benson and Moorhead directed.
Yep, I think it's my favorite. I think it's my favorite of theirs.
It's between Spring and The Endless for me.
Yeah.
I love The Endless. And there's some people out there that don't
but
like
it. But I still think I like Spring more just because I think the characters are better written.
Yeah.
Like they're more complex. They're more like it was one of those movies that I just got completely lost in, you know, where you're just like, you're really, really wanting to see things work out for this couple. Like you genuinely care about them. And it's like it's one of those where you feel swept up by it by the end. You're just like,
oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Vorpal, who hurt you that plays board games? These board gamers, mouth breathing dice floppers.
Dude, you might as well play I'm not saying Vorpal's wrong. Like
Vorpal is wrong.
No, dude, you go to some of these you go to some of these game stores and shit where they play the games. Like, oh my god, dude.
Okay, that is a very stereotypical, very real, I understand it, section of like the
I'm not saying it
sphere, okay?
They're all that way. There is a big contingency of that.
There are nerds and geeks who don't shower, and it's disgusting. And nerds,
a lot of that's magic. It's magic, and what's the other one?
Hang on. I want to set the record straight here because I think Vorpal got beat up by somebody, and I want him to heal. Nerds like me hate the unbathing mouth breathers that also have to show their ass crack every time they're sitting down at a table. Like,
I not bathe.
We also hate these guys, but it just, when it comes to hobbies and it comes to niche hobbies, it's just it attracts a certain type of people. But
yeah, but you can say the same thing about video gamers too. Because look at the WoW community, dude. The WoW community is one of the most famous for being mouth breathers and not showering and blah blah blah. We just don't see them because they play in their mom's basement,
right?
So I mean, it's like
I know so many board gamers who are more successful than probably most people, and they have
and you could say the same thing about horror movie like fans. You could say the same thing, like, because think about it, every horror convention you go to, you're gonna see a contingent of those people at those as well, but to say that all horror fans are that way, that's just not right. And I think gaming is in that same category, like board gamers.
Vorpal, what are you gamers? Are you just this is the problem. Are you like self-owning, or are you just like he's just, I like to be the center of attention. My game table is absolutely so are you a gamer? Were you just trolling? Like, what's happening here? This is what sucks about the year 2025. I'm gonna rant now. I cannot tell.
Dude, wait, you don't remember Vorpal because he always talks shit every stream.
Okay, but like this is like he's talking shit from both sides of his mouth. And this is the problem.
No, because he's just being facetious.
In 2025, I cannot tell what is parody anymore. I can't tell what is satire anymore. It's so hard for me to like read something and think, oh, this is just satire, because there's
but that's the problem with text, man.
Times, but it's not just text. It's like pictures, it's memes. It's like, I used to be able to be like, this is satire, this is parody. But I read so much shit anymore where these people have the most retarded takes, and they're.
But I think you got to go.
And it's like you have to be joking. No, I'm serious, and so it's just like, so parody's been ruined. So when I see something like that,
you just gotta think it's like, and that's even funnier. Like if someone has a ridiculous take and they mean it seriously, that's even funnier. It's like sad. You just gotta laugh, dude. You just gotta laugh. Because, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, what does it matter? Like, I'd rather think someone is being facetious and fucking around.
I would love to get people to
find out, oh, no, you're serious? Well, you're an idiot then, but whatever. Huh?
James says my biggest romantic horror was my marriage. See, I know that's funny. Also, I just had the coffee table spoiled for me in chat, so thanks, guys.
I warned you. I told you don't like.
I gave our chat the benefit of the doubt. They've been great when it comes to spoilers, but no, there's like 3 people talking about the spoiler of the coffee table. So thanks, guys. Now I get to go. Now I get to go watch this, knowing what's going to happen. I appreciate you.
It's only been like the most talked about horror movie for a year, dude.
I know, but I've done a good job avoiding the spoil. Whatever.
I know, but you can't forever. Like, it's just eventually.
I know. Okay, whatever.
I agree. They shouldn't have spoiled it in the chat, but it's also, you know, it's where they have conversations with each other too. So
I know. It's fine.
Like, I'd yell at them when if it's a movie that's been out for like only a couple, like maybe a couple weeks, then I'm like, but after it's been out for a while, it's like you can't get too upset at people.
I'm not actually mad. I'm not like,
no, I know. But it's just the only tricky thing with that movie is because it's really just this one central moment. But no matter what, you're going to still appreciate the movie because it's like master filmmaking.
I'm sure I will. Matt says, question, what is the next horror movie coming out that you're really looking forward to 28 years later?
Destination Bloodlines. Or Final Destination Bloodlines.
I'm looking forward to that in the sense that I'm interested in seeing it, but I'm looking forward to 28 years later in the sense that I think that's going to be the movie of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like, as far as like a movie that I'm looking forward to because of the experience of just having fun, it's Final Destination Bloodlines. I'm not expecting it to be like some great masterpiece kind of movie. 28 years later, I actually do think, like you, I think it could be the movie of the year, and like it has a chance to being like just like an instant classic, you know, kind of movie.
It's gonna be so disappointing if it's bad. Like I'll rate.
It's not gonna be bad. I just think
what I'm trying to say,
expectations are so high. There's a good chance that we're gonna be like,
right.
Good,
and the reason for that is just how fucking good of a trailer. The 28 years trailer. If the movie,
which is so weird because it doesn't spoil anything.
No,
you know what I mean? It's the trailer doesn't, and like I'm sure there'll be another trailer. So like everybody needs to be on the lookout. If there's another trailer that drops for that movie, do not see it. Like, do not watch it.
Yeah. Jobit says
it's like one of the most perfect cut trailers like we've had in
like 20
years,
long
time. Yeah.
Jobit says driving in the rain while I listen to you guys. Ugh. Why ugh? Is it just the rain? Do you not like the rain? Just don't get wet.
I mean, look at it this way. You could be driving in the rain without listening to us.
Exactly. So always look.
At least it's like a, better way to pass the time.
B Movie Theater's favorite romantic horror movie is Return of the Living Dead 3.
Vorpal, what are you doing? What is it?
Hang on. I'll get to it.
Is he mentioning games? What are all these?
I don't know. Hang on.
He's mentioning his favorite games, I think.
Okay, I'm going through the chat. Spinderella says, did I miss it? Did you miss what? No, we're live. We're right here.
Yeah.
Oh, Zombieland. I don't know if that's not really romance. There's some romance in it. I love Zombieland. That's the hottest that.
But that would be like calling Scream a comedy. That's like calling Scream a comedy. It's like there's comedy in Scream,
right? Yeah,
but it's not a comedy. I wouldn't even say it's a comedy horror movie. It's like it just happens to have some comedy in it.
Yeah, it has some comedy.
Zombieland's that way, where it has.
Zombieland's a comedy though. Zombieland is strictly a horror.
No, I know. I'm saying like,
and I didn't put that in my last video. Damn it! What? I put a bunch of. I forgot Zombieland in my last video on Horror Sucks. I referenced a bunch of horror comedy movies, and I left out Zombieland because I'm an idiot. Anyway, Sage
that one is Shaun of the Dead, or like two of the probably would be my top 10 maybe.
Oh yeah. Anime voice artists have often complained about fans who smell gross. Yeah, well, that's also anime fans, so I'm kidding.
But that's what I was talking about. Like, it literally, you could say that for every single one of these like niche type of categories, because like you could say that about horror fans, because when I go to these horror conventions, there's a lot of like, mouth breathing smelly people, but that's not like when I think of a horror fan, I'm not going to say, oh, they all stink and they're all mouth breathers, right? You can say that about when I've gone to Comic-Con and things like that, same thing. But anime fans are not all that way. There's also a lot of super hot girls that are at anime conventions as well.
There's at least
conventions
3
as well. So
they're not real fans though. They're all content creators. They're all pick-me
I would
girls.
say that of anything out there though, the board game magic, like the people that actually go to the places to play, I think there is a pretty, like there's a higher margin of them that are the kind of nerdy, little bit smelly, a little bit like unkept.
Yeah, I get it. I understand. I still love magic.
So I mean, I think same with
D&D.
Same with D&D.
Vorpal says I'm a war gamer. So like, hang on.
Dude, I love war games.
I need to address this. So like Warhammer 40K, you understand that is like,
that's kind of both.
That's the top tier nerd. Like, you can't make fun of board gamers if you are a war gamer. If you play like 40K and stuff like that, you are spending thousands
the games
of dollars.
He's talking about are not like Warhammer though.
What are
like
they?
He's talking about actual historical war games, man.
Well, like Risk?
Yeah, and like Axis and Allies and the Battle of Gettysburg.
Those are board games. Shut up, Vorpal. Those are
okay, I agree. They're just a different type of.
Vorpal is trolling. I knew he is. Shut up,
Vorpal. That's what I'm saying. Like he always.
I love you.
He straight up said
He got
he's not hiding
from
it. He straight up said he likes to like be the center of attention. He's just trying to like.
Well, he got me. So good job.
He's just having fun.
You got me.
It is hard though in text. Like I agree with you 100%. Like it's the context. Like I've had people comment on my channel every day and I'll be irritated and I'll reply and they'll be like, oh man, I was totally playing. And then I'll feel like a dick, but I'm like, it's so hard to tell. Like one nowadays, because there's a ton of trolls. And especially if you're someone that makes content online, we see trolls constantly. Like, and it's hard to even, you know what's the worst though is I'll get one comment of a troll and it'll stick with me for days, and I'll get hundreds and hundreds of comments that are like, love your content, blah blah blah. But this one troll thing, like I had one guy comment a week ago, and it still is batting around in my brain.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
It causes me to like rethink everything I'm doing, and like.
I think the reason why I
can't control it though. It's just, I think the reason why I can't make myself not.
I think the reason why I'm extra sensitive to it is because part of my humor is roasting. So like my friends and I roast each other a lot, and we know that it's out of out of respect and love. But we roast each other pretty hard. So initially, my first response when I get roasted or when I get a mean comment or something like that, I'm just thinking that they're being friendly, and I'll respond and they're not. They're just like, no, actually, fuck you. And it's like,
but see, I get and then what happens is then you flip to the opposite side. And that has happened to me where now I'm just assuming that people are being serious. Because the problem is this: someone watches your videos, they think of you as a friend. And so there is a certain amount of people that think of me as like as their friend, but I don't know them and I don't know their sense of humor. And so they could be just roasting me and I'll take it the wrong way. But then there'll be those dicks that you think might be just roasting you. And then you find out, oh no, they actually hate me. They actually want to kill me. They actually wish I would get cancer and die. Like,
I haven't had that yet, but
I've told you some of this shit.
I know.
Like
I know. Citizen Sleep says you want cosmic horror, get into Warhammer 40K. Yeah, I know. The only thing that has stopped me from getting into 40K is the price gate.
Yeah.
I can't afford dropping $500 on a starter kit, and I'm not painting them. Like I cannot. I don't have.
I mean, I think it's one of the coolest fucking things.
But yes,
like, Warhammer's one of those like.
But it takes
a lot of time and money.
I've spent hours on the Warhammer wiki. I've watched a lot of the short films. I haven't read any of the books yet, but I'm super into the lore. I do like it. I like that grimdark war fantasy. I love the concept of just hyperspace fascism. Like, I love it. It's funny to me. It's also interesting. But yeah, just the price point to get into 40K. I can't do it. I just can't.
Yep.
But I think it's great.
I know.
Sage
I've
is
always
eating
wished that
popcorn,
they
so
would
that's
come out
good.
with a good video game of it, because then it's like you could still play it and like have your badass characters and stuff without having to like paint figures. And even though I love the idea of that, because it's like collecting and playing the game, but yeah.
See, James is roasting me here. He says, "Hey DJ, Darth Vader's Luke's father." Sorry to spoil it. Return of the Living Dead 3, Ultimate Horror Lover Tragedy. They literally
Yep. I adore that movie, man.
No, it's good.
It's one of those movies that people just dude, so many people need to go back and rewatch that movie.
Shut up, Vorpal. God.
Like, I keep waiting for that movie to be treated the way and they're for different reasons, right? But like the way Exorcist 3 has now become like this classic and people think it's like incredible.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for that to happen with Return of the Living Dead 3, but not as like, you know, I mean, it's not film art, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that Return of the Living Dead 3 is like this amazing film like the way Exorcist 3 is, but as far as it having this cult following and getting the respect that it deserves, like it really does, because it is, dude, it's such a good like tragic love story. The special effects are amazing in it. Like, of any of the funny kind of zombie movies, it's one of the better ones, because it's like funny but also still really tragic, and there's like, you know, some real sad, you know, messed up dark kind of stuff in it as well.
Yeah. Abraham is asking, what movie would you guys have rather seen nominated for best film other than The Substance? If you had to replace it with another horror movie from 2024, I don't know, because
he say replace The Substance.
Yeah, it said other than The Substance. What movie would you guys rather have seen nominated? I thought
I would have said The Heretic.
Good. I thought Heretic was good. I didn't think it was best film worthy, but I mean, we're also talking about the standards of the Oscars.
Oh, you know what? No. I would say Strange Darling.
Yeah, I would probably lean more towards Strange Darling as well.
I mean, I don't think it's close though. I think The Substance is far and away.
The Substance is
best
just
movie of the year.
Yeah, I mean, and I knew it was going to get snubbed. I still feel like the best hair and makeup award was just a throwaway, like, here, yeah, good job, horror, fuck you. I still feel that way, and it'll always be that way. That's why fuck the Oscars, don't watch them.
It's one of those tricky things where I agree. It's like it gave that award to it because it knew that it would just be not right to not give at least one Oscar to that movie. Because I do like, it was really loved. And I mean, you look at the nominations, it got 5 nominations. Like, it was only like what, 2 other movies that had as many nominations, I believe. I think The Brutalist and Anora are the only other movies to have that many nominations. So it's like, it was really loved. And it's tough, man. But after watching Anora, I'm like, man, I do think that Anora deserved it. Like, I wish you had seen. I wish you would see Anora, because
I'm gonna,
dude. Like, script wise, like, it's so good, man. It's so well written. The characters are so good in it. It's so moving and tragic, but yet it's not like, it's one of those where you think of Academy Award movies and they're always like depressing. They're like sad and depressing movies. It's like, yeah, it's sad and tragic in ways, but it's also super funny at times. And like, it's just a really well-made movie that's actually a good movie, like an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of the Academy Award movies, like, you're like, yeah, it's not even it's not an entertaining movie. It's like, yeah, it's film, it's art, it's like amazingly made movie, right? But like, a lot of times they're not really that entertaining. But like, Anara actually is an entertaining movie. It's one that I think most people would enjoy it. It's just unfortunate because it's Neon. They don't have a shitload of money to promote their movies. And so a ton of people didn't see it. But did you see it got like an 18% bump from the Oscars?
No, I didn't, but that's good.
Yeah. So like, it got like an extra, I think 200 screens or something like that. and like an 18% bump this second weekend or the weekend after the Oscars. So,
Akvi, I think Oakvi. Do you know about the app Canopy that is connected with your local library? Sometimes they have new movies or hard to get movies. No, I'll look that up. Sounds cool.
Yeah, Canopy's pretty cool. The thing is, though, the problem with Canopy, a lot of people have told me over the years, like, dude, check out Canopy. It has like 99.9% of the same free content that Tubi has and every other one. But the reason I always talk about Tubi more than any of the other ones is because Tubi gets the stuff that takes them above and beyond the other ones.
Yeah.
You know, Tubi gets the stuff that, because like Prime for free, Paramount for free, Peacock for free, Plex for free, like all these other ones, they all share like 99% of the same stuff. It's like the same movies get cycled through them all. But Tubi gets that top little, 1% that nobody else gets, that you're only going to see on HBO or Netflix or, you know what I mean? And that's why, especially for horror, like, and it's because it's owned by Fox, which, is Disney. But then also the commercials are not awful either.
I'm going to read this because hang on, I'm going to read it because I do have a response to this. So
$500 for what?
This is this goes back to my Warhammer comment where this starting the price gate for Warhammer is just so expensive. And I'm not sure if it's $500 just to start, but I know it's over $100. It's, you need to drop money to start this. And so Leslie says $500. Wouldn't they rather spend that on having fun with a woman? Oh, wait. And,
if they listen to my sponsor, they could for $500 have fun with a woman type of thing.
Well, so here's the thing, Leslie. No, because $500 isn't worth it in today's dating scene for a man when it comes to most women out there.
Dude, and every man on planet Earth, if they could just simply spend $500 and meet a girlfriend that they love and have sex with and all that stuff, every man would spend 10 times that in a second. It's just, it isn't that easy. And unfortunately, for socially inept people like them, the reason you play those games is it's like the same reason other guys drink, or, you know what I mean? It's just,
exactly what exactly what you're getting with that.
You're just trying to, it's just a way to to help you forget your loneliness.
Well, it's not just that. It's just when you have a hobby that you spend money on, you know what you're getting out of that. And the value proposition of that hobby is something that you know that you're going to get, that you're going to get the value proposition that is.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is it's not an either or.
So when it comes
to, there's no guy.
Hang on. This is a joke No. Because I know what she was saying. And I do want to respond, because it's like, yes, back in the day, it would be like, just spend $500 on having a fun date. But today, it's not that. It's not that. And
that's not what she was saying. You misunderstood what she was saying.
Really?
Yeah. Her joke was they can't get a girl.
Yes. No, okay. Anyway,
you're saying that $500 wouldn't cut it, right? Isn't that what you're saying? That now it's way more.
I'm saying that I know what I'm getting when I buy $500 worth of Warhammer. I don't know what I'm getting when I'm expected to spend all this money on a chick.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's not an either or thing anyway. Because every guy would choose a hot chick every day, and twice on Sunday versus a hobby. Like if you're a single guy, if you're already with someone, that's fine, right? If you're in a relationship, that's fine. But if you're a single guy and are wanting, if you're able to date and you're going on dates, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your average guy that is the hobbyist guy, right? That's single and can't get a date. They would in a second pay $500 to be able to get a date.
I don't know if that's true, man.
DJ, you do not count in this category. Your opinion is shit in this category because you are still young enough, good looking enough, and still do get dates. And not too long ago had a girlfriend. Once you're 40s, like once you're in your 40s and it's been a minute.
Listen, thank you for the
Warhammer guys.
I'm gonna take those. However,
yeah, because the Warhammer guy is not in that same.
That's not true. That is not true. If you're trying to say,
if you're one of those Warhammer guys that's socially inept, you would love to be able to get a date. The reason you put all your money and everything into those is because it's the only way to help you forget about how lonely you are.
I don't know, man. All right, I want to move on.
Dude, I don't know if you've ever been that guy. I've been that guy.
What? Well, been lonely?
Not most of my life. I wasn't in this situation. Up until really since 2020, I've always had plenty of
chat. So,
I
said we're getting deep. I'm just
getting
letting
deep.
The chat know we're getting. Deep.
Yeah,
we're getting deep.
Because since 2020, I've like discovered like true loneliness. Prior to that, I was a singer in a metal band. Like I was an artist. Like I was either in a relationship or had plenty of women to go on dates with. But since 2020, I not only don't have dates, I don't even have friends and people to hang around with. You know what I mean? Like in person. So I've gotten a glimpse into, and I'm always been an empathic person too, but I've also had a lot of friends that are kind of in that category where they're socially awkward, they're the nerdy type, and like they would love to get a date, but it isn't that simple. You know what I mean? If they knew how to go and get a date, they would, and they would gladly spend $500 to go on a date.
Yeah, probably. But for what I'm trying to say is that as a man, you are expected. There's so many things expected of you as a guy, and you are expected to provide, be a provider. Fine. You're expected to pay for everything. Fine. So that you can have a date with this girl, maybe a few dates, only for her to just turn around and cheat on you, or go psycho and like burn all your shit, or decide that she wants somebody who's taller for whatever reason, then just dumps your ass, and they're probably better off later. And this happens to more and more dudes because we live in a society that coddles women. Not that saying that they shouldn't have attention paid to them and cared for, but it's coddling. Society doesn't give a shit about men at all. And when it comes to dating, that's what a lot of guys, we all have similar stories. And so
I think you're right.
So if it's between spending $500 on a
too
game,
broad of too broad of a statement there. Like,
I don't think I did. A lot of guys,
not that society doesn't give a shit about men, but like when it comes to dating, yes, the power is very much in the hands of women when it comes to the dating world right now. Like, period.
Yeah. And so when you're a guy and you are constantly going on these dates, spending your hard-earned money just for her to cheat on you, decide that she's bored with you, plays you, takes advantage of you, whatever, and then just leaves you later. Yeah, you're going to start looking at that $500 Warhammer set and go, you know what? This actually brings me happiness and I'm getting my money's worth.
Well, there's a lot of women, though, that have a very similar story. I just think that love is hard to find, like loyalty and a good match is hard to find. I mean, I have been in love a number of times and I've been in some really great relationships, but they all ended. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm sitting here still married and being like, yeah, I've been married for 20 something years. Like, one of my best friends has been married. Like, it's so funny. Like, my first marriage, I was 19. He's still married to the same woman, and they got married like months apart from me and my ex-wife. And it's like, I've been divorced for like almost 20 or like, yeah, I've been divorced for like 16 years now. and we were together like 10 years, and he's still married to the same woman.
Some people get lucky. I got a similar story between myself and my best friend.
But I don't think it's that simple.
I'm not saying it's that simple. I'm just saying generally.
No, but I'm saying I don't think it's just getting lucky. Because like
no, right. No. I know it's not just about.
There's a life he has chosen to still be married and like, you know what I mean? Like I know why I am not still married. I could have stayed married. I could have chosen to sacrifice or to like, you know what I mean? Like there's every guy that's cheated on, there's also another side to that story. Every woman that's cheated on, there's another side to that story. Like it's not always like, it's easy to get jaded, I guess is what I'm saying. And like, I hear what you're saying, but that is also a jaded way of looking at it.
Yeah, man, a lot of people are jaded today because the same
but
shit.
You also got to hold yourself accountable and look at yourself. It's just like the nerdy,
you're absolutely
the nerdy
right.
guys that are socially inept, right?
Stop.
Like if you're going to keep spending your money on playing Warhammer instead of finding ways to better yourself, and then you're going to keep going home at night lonely and moaning about, no women want to, nobody wants to date me. It's like, fat fuck. Maybe if you exercise, maybe if you buy some better clothes, maybe if you start working on things to make yourself feel better about yourself, that would change. But instead, it's the same as Mr. Alcoholic over there, who every night just keeps getting drunk instead of, no, put down the booze. You know what I mean? Like start working on myself. And I'm not saying it's about being fat because, and I know, and dude, there's so many people that like men that have a belly or whatever and still got plenty of women. It's about being a better person, a better confident, put yourself out there. Like there's so many things to it. It's like with me, lonely as shit for years now, right? I said, don't have like a crew of friends and this and that. But a big part of that is my own fault. Like I need to get out there. I need to find, there's always an answer. Like to any problem, there is always an answer. And it's like, as long as you're willing to as long as you keep placating, and just keep being like wearing the blinders, you know what I mean? And not looking yourself in the mirror and figuring out what you can do better, then you're just as much a part of that problem as any woman out there. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, you
takes advantage of you, or
you should constantly be improving yourself. Yes, you're right.
But I'm saying, like, don't go spend $500 on a girl that you just met off a Tinder that you know nothing about.
Right.
But like at the same time, that doesn't mean you shouldn't spend, like what Leslie was saying, $500 to go out on a beautiful date with this woman that you have feelings for, that has feelings for you, but a lot of that has to do with your own confidence and your own, like the way you carry yourself and what you expect from others, like to treat you. Cause it's not just women. It's like, it's so far beyond just confidence of like, you have to demand in a way respect. It isn't just from women or just from men. It's from your boss. It's, you know what I mean? Your coworkers, your parents. And like, I think that's a bigger part of this problem than it is a woman thing or a man thing. It's like too many people, like we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of. We allow ourselves to feel sorry for ourselves. We allow ourselves, to continue to like wallow around our own self-pity, keep going down this path that is not making us happy.
Right. Yes. There are several, there are several things that you can do. I'm just saying, if we're going to address this one issue of, you're just you just spend money on hobbies when you could easily just spend it on a date. And it's just like, and there's a few reasons for that. But I want to catch up with chats. Because we're behind. Jordan wants to know, do we know when the substance will stream? Not trying to be cheap, but $6 is $6.
It is streaming.
I get you, buddy. It is streaming.
It's been streaming, but you got to get the app. The reason it's only on Mubi is because Mubi is an independent streaming service that is also making movies. So it's kind of like Shudder. Yeah. And so they made the substance, like they paid to create they produce this. I don't know why the word wasn't coming to brain. They produce the substance. And so that's why it's exclusively on there. it's kind of like Terrifier 3 is only on
Screenbox.
Screenbox. Like eventually the substance will get elsewhere. Like I guarantee it. There's too much money out there that people will be willing to give it, to put it on Netflix or whatever. But my recommendation is just sign up for Mubi for free, like a trial 7-day membership, watch the substance, and then cancel it. The key with all those services is sign up for them and then immediately cancel it. So you never get charged, but you got to cancel it immediately after you sign up. Like as soon as you hit the enter to sign up, you also find out how to cancel it and cancel it immediately.
Leslie says,
otherwise
okay.
You will forget.
Leslie says, okay, I guess I keep forgetting who I am. I'd throw in 500. I'd throw in 500 more to make it a weekend. Well, you're a big baller, Leslie. So, good for you, girl. Vorpal Bite says,
but money's money. It's not about the money amount. It's all relative. Cause like $20, like for a poor guy, taking a like 16-year-old, poor 16-year-old, $20 is their version of 500. If you're not willing to spend that to take your girlfriend or whoever out for pizza, you know what I mean? Like, and you want to put it into your Warhammer, like, and you wonder why your relationship ends up going down the drains. That's part of it. Because I think what Leslie's referring to is also about like couples, not just single people.
Yeah, she
right?
said I meant having a woman. Yeah, that's what she said. She says I meant having a woman.
And I 100% agree with her on that. Is like you gotta nurture any relationship that you're in. And there's so many guys, like the worst are these married guys that have been married for a minute and like they just fucking let themselves go, watch football all Sunday. Their wife comes in and they're like, where's my beer and sandwich? And shoo them away. And then they wonder why next thing they know, they find out their wife's cheating or they're getting a divorce after 10 years or like, you know what I mean? Or they wonder why they haven't gotten it from her in like, a fucking month.
Eliminated Stride says, DJ, my red pilled dude. I'm more black pilled than I am red pilled. If we want to go that way.
I never understand the whole pill thing. Like, I don't know what means what.
It comes from the Matrix.
No, I know, but like the black pill thing has been a thing that's what I mean. I don't mean like I understand the blue and red pill. What I don't get is the black pill thing, because that's been a new one that I've heard a lot.
Black and white pilled. Black pilled is the pessimistic doomer side. Okay. White pilled is the optimistic,
more optimist side.
Yeah,
okay.
Like we always see or we shouldn't say we, but like the white pilled people are the ones that are like, no, it's not going to this is not happening. We're not going into World War III. This is what's actually going to happen. This is the most logical reason, blah, blah, blah. Black pilled people are like, the nukes are going to fall one way or the other because, the deep state wants it to happen. Right. So just to bring up a weird political thing, that's the difference between black and white pill, but that's what it is.
Most of the time, this is reality though. Most of the time, the black pill people are the ones that are wrong.
Yeah.
They just are. Because like if you're gonna have it, if you have like this doomsday kind of like for everything, like yes, there's always that possibility. But if you look at the entirety of whatever it is, whatever subject you're looking at, the chances of it not happening are way higher.
I don't want to get into it, but I was just describing like that's the difference. Sage says a 500 date sounds ridiculous to me. Let's make a sandwich and watch a movie. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. And
but I think there's a place for both
sandwiches too.
And I think there's a place for both, because I remember me and my ex, like we would have some of like one of my favorite dates we ever had. We were super poor, but we like made a little like a summertime in Sacramento, super warm, kind of like Florida, and we made a blanket on our porch, made up our own, like went to the grocery store, got all the best things to make sandwiches, made up sandwiches, got fresh strawberries, and we had a little picnic on our front porch. And it was
sounds
like
awesome.
amazing.
That sounds great.
And then we watched Netflix.
Jordan brings up a great point that I forgot about. Henry Cavill is a huge Warhammer dude. Doesn't exactly fit that stereotype. Yeah, true. And he's producing the Warhammer show and is going to star.
Yes, but that is awesome. I think that's a wrong way of looking at a lot of things, though, too, is where you can just look at someone who's like, oh, good looking, and so they don't fit in that category. Like that's not true either. There is a lot of like good looking people that
there are
also
outliers,
can be.
yeah. But Henry Cavill is one of those dudes that are like, he's probably a bigger nerd than I am. And he's a gorgeous, famous actor. And I can
Yeah,
say
because being a nerd isn't what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no,
I
I
am super
understand.
fucking nerdy, but I bathe every single day. You know what I mean? I am very well groomed. I care about how I look. Like it has nothing to do with being a nerd. Like tons and tons of people nowadays, it's cool and accepted and the way it should be to be a nerd about whatever it is, right? Being a nerd is not what it's about. Like just because you're a nerd doesn't mean you got to be gross and not have respect for yourself or others. Like, you know what I mean? Like there was a time maybe when that was the like stereotype or whatever, but that's not the way it is anymore. There's nothing wrong with being nerdy about whatever thing you care about, but that doesn't mean you should not take a shower either. So
that's correct. Yeah. My Skynet says, wow, get some therapy. Oh my God.
You going to pay for it?
Vorpal's just been trolling this entire time. I love you, Vorpal.
Therapy is expensive as shit, man.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. Wednesdays is therapy for me and DJ.
Yeah.
Yell at each
Yeah,
other.
something like that. Okay, I'm gonna address. Oh, Jesus God! I don't want to talk about this anymore.
What?
Just James says dating guys have to worry if she likes you. Women have to worry about being raped. Nightingale, women have to worry about getting killed.
Hold on.
Yeah, you cannot move
on that fast from what James said. Go back.
This is some of the no. I was bringing it up because there's similar comments. What James and Nightingale said are similar comments, and they're both statistically incorrect. These are the amount of date rapes, like real rape. Okay, not just I didn't like the attention I was getting. You know, like actual date rape. Okay, because we're also in an age where people just throw around the term rape like it's nothing, and it demeans and discredits actual rape victims. So when we say that word, and I'm getting passionate about this because I know somebody who was raped.
Yep.
Okay. I know
a lot of people.
I know what the consequences of those are and what that actually means. And so so I get super triggered by the whole Me Too movement and all this garbage, all this made up stories, fucking mattress girl, all of this shit that comes out when a girl says that she's been raped, and all it is was that she made a dumb decision and didn't like the results of her dumb decision. There is a huge difference between attention that you don't like and being raped. Okay. So I just want to lay that out there on Front Street. And when it comes to date rapes, hang on. When it comes to date rapes that is not happening to women for a bunch of reasons. And you can all look this up. There are receipts for this. But there are a bunch of different reasons why that stuff is not happening. When it does, it's awful. And I hope those dudes get put through a wood chipper feet first, okay? But it is so low in these. You are more likely to get into a car accident going on your way to a date than you are having an experience than getting date raped or anything like that. You have more of a chance getting into a car accident or a plane accident than you are getting killed on a date. And if you're
DJ, there's so many different problems with a lot of what you're saying, because first off, there is an element of this.
I'll bring it up.
That is like, no, let me finish what I'm saying. There is an element. Like, I'm not saying the statistic part of what you're saying is wrong. What I'm saying is there's a big chunk of this that has to do with like the Halloween candy thing of the 80s, where we have like a couple confirmed situations where candy was actually, razor blades found in it, drugs found in it. Like there's literally, if you really look into it, there's literally like 2 or 3 confirmed incidents that have ever been found. But it got into the zeitgeist and it scared the shit out of parents. And all of a sudden it became the same as the satanic panic thing of the 80s too, where it doesn't matter of what would really happen. It was about the fear that it triggered in everybody. And so there's a big part of it that is that women may feel this even if it isn't true. And that doesn't discount them being afraid of it. So part of what they said, I think I don't agree with in the way that they said that, because I think most women do have that fear, like the majority. I'm not saying every woman, but and I know a lot of women. I've known a lot of women, a lot more women closely than most men. And almost every single one, at least at one point or another, has been worried about the rape thing. Also, almost every single woman I've ever known closely, like either close friends or in a relationship with or whatever, has been raped at one point. Like, it is insane how many women are raped. Most women just don't talk about it. It's just something that happened and they have to move on from it. Okay. I think it's becoming less and less and less. Women are the safest now as they've ever been. And Me Too movement was an important thing, but like a lot of things, it's like the whole woke thing, right? People take it and then they twist it. The original meaning of woke was actually a good thing, and now it's being twisted into meaning basically you're hypersensitive, you're overly sensitive. And that's not what it meant originally. And so I think the problem is it's still there, though. It's like this underlying fear because it's been brought up in us. So even if women are the safest now as they've ever been, like younger women coming up in the world, because it's still something that's ingrained in them and the way they've been brought up to be safe and whatever, it's still there, man. Like, I don't know any women that are not nervous or scared walking around at night.
Look, and I buy that. Okay. I get it. And I think that that's also an argument from what I was saying earlier is that.
But if you think of the comment that James said, think about what he said. He didn't say women have to worry about getting raped as in they're going to get raped. He said they have to worry about getting raped.
I have to worry about
that's what I'm talking about.
I have to worry about getting attacked and mugged every time I go outside. Like there's been plenty of there's been plenty of dudes that
Hold on. You're telling me you worry about getting mugged like when you leave the house at night?
I don't worry about it, but
if you go to 7-Eleven up the street, if you go up to 7-Eleven, like say it's midnight or 1 a.m, and you run up the street to grab a beer from 7-Eleven, are you worried about getting mugged?
The thought crosses my head. Yeah. I'm looking around. I'm noticing my surroundings. I have my weapon on me, and I'm always checking. But I'm not actively thinking about it. Like I'm not it's not
every woman thought,
but
I'm saying 90% or more women do like literally think they're going to get raped. Not just worry about it. They think they're going to get raped. If they go to a 7-Eleven late at night or whatever, like they won't even do that. Because if they do, they think they're going to get raped.
I get it. And that sucks. And that's also why I think more women should carry guns.
But at the same time, one of the most amazing things that's ever happened is that women are also safer. Like, how many women are now making they travel across the world making content for YouTube where they travel by themselves, sometimes with a dog, but in a lot of cases, like I watch a number of channels where they travel all over the country by themselves and they're totally safe. And it's like,
right. That's part of my point. What I'm trying to say is
that's what I'm saying. What you're saying isn't wrong.
I don't think it's an argument. I don't think it's an argument to say because, and please, James Nightingale, once I get to your comments, hopefully we get to them. I will address them. If you're trying to argue that men should be expected to do all of this stuff just because women have to think about being attacked, let's say, because I really don't like saying the R word. I really don't like to. So if just because they have to think about being attacked, like that's just, it's such an ambiguous, just amalgamous thing to have out there.
I don't think
so then why date?
I don't think what James said was they have to. He said they do.
Okay.
And so it's like,
it just sounds like
his point he made. It is valid. Like guys do need
I
to,
know.
like, sometimes we as guys sometimes do need to, like, take a hard look in the mirror and be like, dude, we're going to sit here worrying about, we might spend a couple $100 on a date and it ends up not going well, versus women who are worried that they could be raped, killed, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I think what it comes down to is men are bad at putting themselves into women's shoes. They just are. I think women are also pretty bad at putting themselves into men's shoes. I like the whole thing that, that book that was super famous from the 80s, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, is still very true. Like, opposite sex, for whatever reason, just does not have the ability to be empathetic towards the other one's plight, not nearly as much as they should. And I think that's what it comes down to. Because what James said, even though I think it's valid, I push back on it because I'm like, that's not really the point that should be being made. You know what I mean? The point that should be being made is that both those things do exist, and yet the other doesn't give a fuck. That's the problem. Because just like men should care that women have to be feeling, they or not have to, but the women feel scared and nervous and have a heart, like, all of that. They do feel fear of being attacked, violated, whatever, right? Women also need to be empathetic to the fact that it's not this no big deal thing that a guy takes you out on a date and then you blow him off. Like, that is a big fucking deal. It's not just the money, it's the men have emotions too. And like, we invest emotionally in it as well. We just may show it like in a different way. And when we bitch about wasting that $100, the reality isn't the fucking money. But that's all women here. Women here, you're just complaining about money. Whoop you fucking do. That's not it. The reason that men mention the money like that is because you feel taken advantage of. You feel violated.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point. Why did we turn into the what's going on in dating show? Like, we've been talking about this.
When do we got almost dude, when are you gonna realize we just are what we just talk about whatever?
God. Well, so now here's what I'm dreading. Okay, I'm dreading scrolling through these comments now to bring them up and have to defend myself again, because I know I'm gonna have to. And oh god, here we go.
But like, what you're saying isn't wrong.
I know,
like,
but
just like I said, what James said isn't exactly wrong. What you said isn't wrong. I mean, like, you're right. The statistics are there, but like, I talk to you about this all the time. It's like the same with movies, right? Two things can both be true.
Yes.
Things are never just black and white. There's usually a little bit of chocolate in your peanut butter and a little bit of peanut butter in your chocolate.
Sure. Okay, here we go. Let's go through this. Let's go through these comments. Leslie says, I always have to worry about guys using me for money. I've had stalkers. I'm not a hoe. Trust me. It's plenty hard for decent women. Yeah, there are a lot of roaches out there. There are a lot of dudes like, and I'm not like, I'm not some MGTOW idiot, but there are a lot of dudes out there that will try to take advantage of women, especially well-off to do women, and thinking they can get a free ride and have like a sugar mama and stuff like that. There are a lot of dudes like that, and that sucks. And I'm sorry that happens to you, Leslie, because that sucks. Vorpal says
there's scammers on both sexes. Like, people are just scammers, period. Like,
right.
Even if you're not talking about dating, like even friendships, like how many people have had a friend that they seem to only text you or call you when they need you to help them move. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's always those people that are the moochers. I think that's separate. That's kind of a different thing than what we're more specifically talking about,
Right. Leslie says, Kana, 5 Kana, I'm not sure what that means. Everyone wants to cry instead of just doing better. And yeah, I would agree with that. There's a lot of people that just complain instead of want to do it. You should always be improving yourself.
I think that's meant to be a high five.
Oh, high five.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for explaining that to me, because I'm like, what is this? High five. Yeah, and you should be trying to do better. Yes. James says, I can't find decent women. I can't find one cute girl interested in settling down. It's hard, man. It's hard.
But I'm telling you, for every guy that says that, there's also a woman who may be like, because like, okay, so check this out.
I get it. There's also women out there that are like, yeah, all dudes are players. Like, and
no, but
and there's
so check this out. Hold on,
yeah.
let me.
Okay. Yeah,
so
go for it.
Someone I know, I'm not going to say who, someone I know, a female, recently put their profile up on like one of these, I don't know, Tinder, Match, whatever, one of the dating apps, right? And told me within like, I think 2 hours, I think they said they had over 400 men liking their profile, over 400. And they had just as much luck as me, who gets maybe 2 or 3 in that same, like, maybe not even that many, but like, and yet they have the hundreds and hundreds of guys versus my 1 or 2 women, but they have just as much of a problem because it isn't just, they're not just looking for a cute guy. So it's like, guys got to keep that in mind. Women are looking for a quality, like, person that they connect with. There's all these different things. And so my point I'm just trying to make for James and for any guy out there is just as hard for women. It's just a different criteria. Like, they may go on more dates, but I don't know if that's a better thing. It's like, you know what I mean? If you're a guy and you go on a couple dates and you find, your next girlfriend, I don't know if that's any, you know what I mean? Versus a woman that may go on dozens of dates to find a guy. I'd kind of rather have the less, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? They may have a lot more interest, but that just means a lot more to search or like to sift through. So I just don't think it's really any easier to find love, I guess is what I'm saying, for women as it is for men.
Yeah, look, we're talking in generalities. Like, we're not trying to, I'm not making any blanket statements. I'm speaking obviously generally. Everybody's going to have a different story. Everybody's going to have, everybody's going to have something different to say. It's just generally speaking, these things are the way that they are. Amon says, "Hey, Kay, can you give us nice suggestions for horror?" Yeah, we definitely can.
Man, I do that every fucking week.
He does.
I spend between 40 and 70 hours doing that. So like, if I talk about some other shit on the podcast, deal with it. Otherwise, and otherwise just only watch my videos. I don't ever talk about any of this stuff in the videos.
Yeah, like, this is a glimpse. This is a glimpse into just 2 dudes being their authentic selves with a bunch of strangers. So that, so go us. High five us. Let's high five.
And hopefully you how are you gonna high five off the screen?
Oh, do you see me? Is it
yeah.
Stupid. James says,
like, how are you seeing me?
I see you. You're on the right side of my screen.
Yeah.
So like, I'm trying to high five you. No, you need to go the other way for me. Yeah.
For our hands to hit, it would be
it needs to be
in the middle.
Yeah, like this.
Why are we on the? That's so weird. Why are you? Because I see you on the left side of my screen.
Yes, I'm also on the left side of my screen. Is your camera flipped?
So if we
both go to the right, we high five.
No, this is my right side.
I understand. So
is yours flipped?
Oh, maybe. No, because I'm also using my right arm.
Yeah, then yours is flipped. This is my right arm.
So then there you go.
Yeah, you're flipped.
Okay. Sorry. I'm flipped. Okay.
It doesn't matter. I'm just like, how is off the screen the middle?
James says, I'd put $16 into my Warhammer. Sorry, someone had to make Warhammer. Yeah, it's okay. Let's see.
$16 in Warhammer. That ain't shit, right? I mean, is it even?
Leslie says, I just looked up Black Pill and it talked about incels. I'm sure that's you find incels everywhere. It's the new dork insult from people. Oh, you're an incel.
No, incel is a major. That's another thing that's kind of been.
I know what it is, but people throw it around like an insult.
Because an incel is someone that's super problematic, but like, It's the same.
They're involuntarily celibate. That's the compound word for involuntarily celibate. They can't get laid. They're an incel.
Well,
and a lot of incels are black
the term
because they haven't been laid. When I say I'm more black pilled, it's definitely not in that realm.
Oh, I know. I'm saying that the incel term has been hijacked in a way, and it just kind of, because like it originally was a 4chan term, and it refers to super toxic men that basically blame women for all of
that's
the problems in the world.
That's the MGTOW. That's the men going their own way group that they're retarded.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but now incel is kind of being thrown around. That term has been thrown around too loosely. You know what I mean? Like, but that's not where the term originates. It's from, it's people that are men that are really problematic.
Leslie says, I agree with DJ 100% on me too. Well, thank you, Leslie. Mr. Halloween says, this is why.
With the thing with Me Too, it's just like all these other things, right? It's like there isn't any group or any movement that isn't at some point usually misrepresented and skewed, and people take advantage of it, and it becomes this whole thing beyond what its original intent was.
You're
Too
right.
is one of those things that originally was, and I still stand behind it, because the original Me Too movement, it's literally changed Hollywood, and it is still what is currently changing Hollywood.
I don't know about that.
Dude, it is what took down some of the biggest,
what took down one guy. Leslie Headland still has a job. Oprah Winfrey still has a job. It took down one dude. It still happens in Hollywood. You're not going to convince me it doesn't happen.
Well, it still happens in business, but I'm saying like it has changed. No.
He was the
There's a lot of people in Hollywood.
No,
are you kidding me? If it wasn't for Me Too, Cosby wouldn't have been caught. Harvey Weinstein wouldn't have been caught.
Okay, 2 sacrifices. The rest are still in there.
No, what's his dude, there's a ton of them, man.
Leslie Headland fed young girls to Harvey Weinstein, and she is still in that
I'm not saying it fixed it. Did I say it fixed Hollywood?
No, you said it helped. I don't think it helped at all. I think they had 2 sacrificial lambs. Now that you brought up Cosby, I think they had 2 sacrificial lambs to quell the masses, and it all went away.
There's a lot of other ones that we didn't see, because what people don't, because what Me Too did isn't just for the women. It is what enabled Brendan Fraser to come out and talk about what happened to him. It is what helped a lot of these child actors come out and talk about what happened to them on Nickelodeon and like whatever. Like, Me Too movement is a very positive thing that has made huge changes. The problem is what people have done. Like I was talking about with the incel term, it's you hijack it. Like people, they take it and twist it to fit whatever narrative they're trying to promote and push.
Sorry.
And so like now you have, because Me Too wasn't just about women. It never was just about women.
Yes, that's fine. I'm just saying, it's like you said, it's been hijacked.
But you can't blame the movement. You got to blame the people that that hijack it. You know what I mean? Blame them.
Okay, fine. Them, the hijackers. That's what I'm blaming. That's who I blame. Lin Ling says, "Whoa, I just got here. What the fuck?" Yeah. We went off on a pretty deep, and we're still kind of there, but that's okay because whatever. Hang on, we're off the rails tonight. No, we're not. There are no rails to get off of.
We're generally every podcast for like at least the last like 4 or 5. We've had our, like, as it gets deeper into the podcast, we get more and more off the rails.
Ralph says, great analogy, Big K. So good job, man. Whatever you said.
I think that all of this is what I love about horror movies, to be honest, to bring it back kind of like to what we generally are talking about, because that's what makes the best horror movies, are the ones that are able to talk about all these different things. Like I was talking about the rule of Jenny Penn to start this. the reason that movie is so amazing is because it like highlights our elderly and that world, and the way it shows these people that are vulnerable, and that like it's such a travesty that, for one, our elderly actors, like they don't elderly actors just do not get jobs in Hollywood. Like, unless you're one of these really big names like Al Pacino or Robert De Niro kind of thing, like, so, and really more recently we're starting to see some, but for like the longest time in Hollywood, once you were, especially if you're a woman past the age of 50, you didn't get a job unless you were like that little old grandma. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And so like it's horror is the one that's like The Substance. The reason that movie was so amazing. It's like it's the genre that is the most brave and bold, and the only genre that always talks about and deals with the hard to talk about issues. And like, if you're not enjoying this back and forth in this conversation that we're having, my guess is you don't like a lot of horror movies, to be honest. You know what I mean?
Well, you also don't like discourse. You don't like conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Because all of this stuff,
and there, somebody did leave
the conversations that are in the horror movies.
Somebody did leave because they don't understand argument, and they don't understand. They didn't listen to me at all. And this is what sucks. And this is why, this is honestly, like, the fact that I even went as long as I did talking about this stuff. I don't do that just anymore, because people just don't know how to fucking listen. They do is they listen for buzzwords. They listen.
You're gonna lose.
They listen for the whatever they want to think about or hear. That's what they hear, and then they go and they just vomit all over their keyboard, and then whatever it is. So bye. I'm not going to bring their chat up. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. But you're a retard. You are a low IQ person who doesn't. You
don't need to stoop to that level.
So don't just
like
we're. If you don't understand what I'm trying to say, ask me a fucking question. Don't just plug in your stupid cognitive bias in whatever I'm trying to say, okay? Ask a fucking question and get an answer, and actually listen. Don't just listen to respond. Listen to understand.
Well, and that's the whole thing that is
why I can't talk to people.
This is why I'm all for us having these kind of conversations, because too many people feel like they can only be a part of like-minded groups now, and like be in an echo chamber.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
It's like people that think that we're not friends because we argue. It's like, no, that's like back in the day growing up, you always argued with your friends. You know what I mean?
And that's what you
like. I remember arguing about bands, about movies, about like everything. But for some reason now, we all are trying to circle ourselves with people that think exactly like us. And
it's like if somebody disagrees with you, it's like a personal attack on you, and it's not. It's like get off the fucking high horse.
And sometimes, back to the point you were making, if they took the time to actually listen to you, they might realize that they didn't actually disagree with you. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, maybe.
But sometimes you just jump to conclusions. Don't let someone finish their sentence or whatever, and like you just blow up.
And sometimes if you argue with somebody enough, you can learn something from them. You can be presented with different or new information, and you can change your mind. It's happened to me several times. That doesn't make you dumb. That doesn't make you inferior. There's nothing. You're actually a better, smarter person if you do change your mind based off of new information or something that is that is an argument that convinces you. It's happened to me several times. I enjoy finding out that I've been wrong about something through discourse and through argument, like what you and I have sometimes, over movies or whatever. I enjoy that because I'm now smarter because of that. And I think the worst thing you can be is close-minded and ignorant and just not listen. Like, because the only way anybody has learned at any point in your entire life, no matter what the subject is, the only way you learn is by listening and by paying attention and by being like present, you know what I mean? And a part of things.
because so often too, like I talk about this all the time. Like two things can be true. It's like there's two halves to a lot of things. And a lot of times I'll only see one half and you see the other, or vice versa. You know what I mean? Like it's why conversation is so important, is because that's really the way to see like a full, the whole circumference of whatever the subject is,
Yeah, and this and like you were trying to say, and the reason why I kept B movie theaters comment up for so long is horror. This conversation is absolutely relative to horror, because these are the conversations that horror movies need to be having. This is the type of messaging that, if you're going to put a message in your horror movie, it needs to be a message or a conversation or a topic that is hard to watch and hard to swallow and hard to think about and is offensive. Horror has to push the boundaries.
Yep. That's why I was such a big fan of both Heretic and The Substance, because they both did that exact thing last year. They were the two, like, to me, the two best at doing that.
Yeah. It's why,
like, Heretic talking about religion, and whoa, where'd you go?
I see you. I'm fine.
You're back. You're back. No, there was just the little loading thing in the screen.
Sorry.
But you're back. But no, like, Heretic, it drove me crazy because there were so many people that would.
Now I'm gone. God damn it.
Okay, I'm back.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back. What happened?
I'm sorry.
I even disappeared for a minute.
We're getting doxxed. Stop doxing us. Yeah. We're just a small show. Stop doxing us.
But like what I was saying is
not doxing.
It drove me crazy with religion, like, or with the Heretic, because I saw people from both sides that came away thinking that the movie was anti-religion, or people on the other side that were like, oh, it just showed how ignorant people are that don't, like atheists or whatever. And I'm like, you totally missed the whole point of that movie, because the whole point of that movie is the conversation. It is the fact that two things can both be true, because there are a lot of really good points that Hugh Grant's character brings up, and a lot of things he says that are very true, but he gets lost in his own hubris, gets lost in the fact that he has closed off anything else, any possibilities. It's like in his search for truth, right? He has become so jaded that now he doesn't even listen to to the answers that he's been searching for when they're right in front of his face. Because like at the end of the movie, she basically, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm listening.
At the end of the movie, she basically explains to him why she prays and why religion and her beliefs, why they actually really matter. And it's like so funny, because he is so dead set on what he thinks is truth that he doesn't even listen to what she's saying. And his whole search of his entire life to find the truth and find the answers and all of that, he doesn't even hear them when they're there.
Yeah.
And so it's like that movie is so good because it has the conversation from both sides and has this really powerful and profound things to say. But if you're so caught up in only hearing what you want to hear, like if you're someone that's like, oh, as soon as some, like the Mormon church, like totally, boycotted the movie and all this stuff. And it's like, whereas you had the Catholic Church embrace the exorcism or the exorcist, right? And it's funny because both those movies like have they're showing religion and the beliefs. There's problems in the beliefs, right? Like the Exorcist, it points at some of the problems and things with religion, but the Catholics still embrace that movie, and it actually went a lot further in helping the church and like, you know what I mean? And like doing things for the church.
Yeah.
And I think the Mormon church would have gotten the same thing from Heretic if they had just embraced it. But instead they're like, anybody saying anything that could possibly anything negative about our religion, we're just going to completely like boycott it. You know, like how does that help anybody and fix anything?
It's like people don't have conviction anymore. You know, you should be able to withstand somebody critiquing
questioning your beliefs
and
your
questioning your belief and still have the conviction to believe that thing. Yep. And instead of just getting all emotional and childish about it, it's like, grow up. Like your emotions
to me,
like
to me, the Mormon church,
your beliefs and what you
the Mormon church coming out about like in the way they did, all that said to me was that the things that the movie did bring up about the church are 100% true.
Yeah.
Like that's all it's saying. Like even if that's not the case, that's the message that you come away with, because it's like, why else would they have a problem with the movie?
And another example of that is George Romero's Night of the Living Dead. You know, that was a boundary pushing movie when it came to race relations, and it needed to be made, and it needed to have that character needed to be black, and it needed to have that message that it had. Horror needs to offend you. It needs to push the boundaries.
We'll never know, because Romero's passed away, and during his life, he always said that the reason he casted, I forget the actor's name, but was because he was the best actor available, not because of the color of his skin. But I'll always wonder if that's true or not.
It could, well, like you were saying earlier, both things could be true, because I think you'd be very hard pressed to not notice the commentary. And George Romero is also, in his follow-up movies, he commented on society quite a bit.
They all are.
Yeah. So he definitely had something to say. So he was probably
like, it's cool. I forget. I saw it. I think maybe it was a Shudder. I think maybe Shudder did it, but like there was different things I've seen, but there was one documentary, I can't remember the name of it, but where they were talking about that trilogy of movies and how like each one he's tackling like a different social, you know, like a different socially important thing. Cause like the first one is racism, right? The second one is about commercial or commercialism and what's the word I'm looking for?
Which movie are you talking about?
Dawn of the Dead. They're in the mall. Like that one's talking about not it's commercialism, but what what's the name of it? Why the word I can't think of. It's what Andy Warhol, his whole, it's like
consumerism.
You know, consumerism. Thank you. Yeah, like that movie is about consumerism, and then Day of the Dead. Did I get them backwards?
I don't know. I always get the titles screwed up.
But yeah, the third one that's in the underground thing and all that, it's about like tyranny and, you know, about world government and control of the people and like, you know, all of those things.
That's also the Crazies.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love the
original Crazies is so fucking good.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah. The remake's really good too, man. Oliphant in that movie is so good. Like I was just talking about a movie, Turistas. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's so weird to me. There's these certain movies in the early 2000s, and The Crazies is one of them, where I don't know why, but they just disappear and people don't talk about them. And yet they're way better than a lot of their other contemporaries that came out around that time. And it's always interesting to me to kind of look into them and like, why is it that movie, you know, it's always different reasons. Like sometimes it's like in the case of The Crazies, it's a remake thing. And people were getting sick and tired of remakes because it was like every weekend there was another remake.
Still is. Movie, we're still in it.
But because of that, there's a lot of them that get lost in that shuffle.
Yeah. But the Crazies remake was good.
We're not in it. We don't get hardly any remakes anymore. We're getting sequels. We're like in the era of the requel.
Yeah. Requel, you're right. Yeah, we're getting more sequels and requels and all that.
But the sequel or the remakes are like, you know, people are definitely voices have been heard, and there's, they're not. But if you look at like from 2000 or like from like 98 to like 2010 ish, there were so many remakes.
Yeah. Diddy wants
like,
to know
we're
if
getting
we
a
had a good
remake
week.
still, but just not in horror.
Diddy wants to know if we had a good week. I've had a very good week. It's just been
I've been sick,
really busy. And so it's the reason I was late tonight and the reason why we're going late. And this is probably going to be our latest going episode. So thanks everybody. Thanks everyone for sticking around. We actually we've maintained about 50 people this whole time. So so thank you. You guys are awesome. Yeah, I mean, I've had a good week. It's just been busy. It's busy as hell.
Well, it's like I talk to you about all the time. The only way for this podcast, this live stream to ever be a thing is if we just be ourselves, because it's the only thing that'll separate us from every other live stream podcast out there. You know what I mean? Like if all we did was just sit here and talk about movie or like horror movies every week, it's like there's 1,000 other podcast live streams, you know what I mean, that do the same thing. So like the only way to make our mark is to just be ourselves and do, and let it go, same with like us talking to our chat and like letting them be a part of it too. It's like, it's how it can become its own thing,
PJR says the horror genre is what keeps the film. Oh, damn it. The horror genre is what keeps the film industry alive. Am I wrong? No, you're not.
Hey, PJR, why do you got to be so negative in my comments in the last week?
Yeah. But also the horror genre is what keeps the film industry alive. Am I wrong? You're not wrong. Because
I think PJR is the one that commented about Titane and was like, called me out for the synopsis of the movie. And I'm like, have you not seen the movie?
I just had somebody. Okay, I'm gonna go off a little tiny rabbit trail. I promise it'll be tiny. I had somebody call me out on my Monkey review about the story. They were like, "This isn't how this." They said that the video is incorrect about the story, and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I literally just gave you a recap of the story in the movie."
In what way did they say yours was wrong?
What they were saying was that the Monkey, the movie, is not the same as the short story by Stephen King.
Yeah.
And so what it was that they were trying to call me out on my recap of the story because it wasn't the same as the book. And I'm like, I'm not reviewing the book. Yeah. I'm reviewing the movie.
And they probably only read the book, or they were meaning to say it in a way of like, not saying you were wrong, but saying that, like trying to say that it was different than but they were.
No, they came after me. They were like, were like, anybody trying to say that this story is anything like it is in the book, they're a liar. And I'm like, I didn't bring up the book once. I'm just talking about the movie. But anyway, yeah. So,
but yeah, PJR,
I can relate.
If it was you that commented that, it really got made me irritated because, like, I think what they were referring to was, okay, this is a bit of a spoiler if you haven't seen Titane.
I haven't seen it.
It doesn't matter. That movie's fucking bonkers.
Well,
like if you watch the trailer, you'll know. But like, basically in the movie,
that's true.
It's about this woman who is basically a psychopath, so to speak. But she goes on the run. She kills a bunch of people, like in the beginning of the movie, and like goes on the run, and then changes her appearance because she realizes that, like, she sees a video of this guy that's been missing, or this kid this boy that's been missing, right? And she realizes that if she changes her appearance, she could look like a grown-up version of that boy. And so she uses that as a disguise to evade the police or whatever, right? So she contacts the dad of that boy and says that she's the long lost son, but she shaves her head, she tucks her boobs, she makes herself look like a boy. So the reason I was irritated with PJR is because I'm like, you push back for me saying the synopsis of the movie, which is the dad reunites with his long lost son. And I'm like, because I think what PGR was referring to is that like something to do with transgender. And I'm like, you've seen the movie. Everybody knows that she's a woman. Like, you know this because you see her butt naked. Like, you know what I mean? You know this is a woman. The entire point of the movie is her pretending to be a guy for like 80% of the movie, right? And her just trying to continue to fool the dad that she's actually the son, and numerous times almost getting caught. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the whole, but then it goes in a weird way, and you end up realizing why the dad does not, like, you eventually realize why the whole time the dad is not realizing that it's actually a woman and not his son. You know what I mean? Like, you towards the end of the movie, you realize the answer of that, because the whole movie you're like, yeah, she looks like a guy, but it's still kind of like, how does he not like, figure this out? You know what I mean? And so that's what's irritating me about PJR, because I'm like, dude, if you're making the statement that like some transgender kind of nonsense, like, that's not at all, like, it's that political stuff that drives me crazy. It's like, leave that at the fucking door. That has nothing to do with what the synopsis of the movie is.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they were pushing back on me calling her a guy.
All right.
But it's like, that's because that's what he thinks. Like, that's the story.
Explain yourself, PJ. Explain yourself.
And if that wasn't you, PJR, my bad. But that comment has stuck with me in my craw for like the last couple days or days.
Oh, so that's the one? There we are.
No, there's a different. That one wasn't a negative one.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we don't want to talk about the negative one.
Yeah, the negative one's the criticism, kind of like hateful criticism. That's different.
I've been flashing your chats up on the screen and trying to acknowledge them while Kanan was talking. So I hope you guys saw that. But Seja, I'm going to read this one out, says, that's exactly why I love horror. I'm not a soft pastel kind of gal. I want to push the envelope. I want to be uncomfortable so I can grow. That's a very healthy mindset, Seja.
Yep. I think it's why most, not all, because that's why I think I get so irritated by the people that are like, man, that movie wasn't scary. Like, by that crowd, is because I feel like true fans of horror realize that there's so much more than that. And like, you're totally missing what makes the genre special. Like, if you're just the surface quote unquote horror fan that goes and watches whatever the big horror movie that year is in theaters, you know what I mean? Like,
a normie.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's not scary. Like, the 16-year-old that just wants to go get scared. Like, that's fine. I don't hate you for being that.
Yeah, but then they'll turn around and think
talking shit because you don't. Well, yeah, but Skinamarink is scary to the right audience.
Sorry, I was just trying to be.
Two things can be true. Like,
I was trying to be funny.
Like, literally, I fell asleep watching that movie. But yeah, I do also understand that to a certain crowd, certain people, it really got it under their skin. But there's a complicated reasoning why that movie did, and it was mostly a younger audience that watches a lot of the liminal horror and the like online horror, and they watch that movie on their laptops at home. So like, a lot of what made that movie blow up wasn't the normal horror crowd loving it. It was this newer, younger crowd that is grown up with the video game world and the liminal space world and the lo-fi stuff.
Oh my God. Okay. Sorry about that. B Movie Theater says, when I was growing up, my social circle was a mix of different types of people. Everyone had their thing that was theirs. So it was our differences that made us friends. That's good. You need to have
but
that.
That's how all of us were. But for some reason, everybody's really, like, people seem to forget that when it comes to social media.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm telling you right now, you can still go and look and everybody, like, in their own personal, like, if you were to take whatever troll and you go look at their friend group, I can almost guarantee you in most cases, their friend group is still that way. But for some reason, when they go online, there's this like herd mentality, and it's like, you only want to have groups of like,
Ralph says, these things totally are horror related. Lets us know how the character feels, what they're going through, that we wouldn't know without those thoughts and conversations. Everything we talk about is horror related. Yep. Even the Marvel stuff. And I can definitely
in a roundabout way, it
make
is all connected to it.
Well, it is because it's all art.
At the very least, it's all film related.
Exactly. Lin Ling says, in On Writing, Stephen King says, good writing is truth wrapped in lies of fiction, and any good story does, I think. Yes, I mean some, yeah. There should be there doesn't necessarily have to be a message in your story, but if there's going to be, the story has to serve that message, and that message has to be, I want to say convincing, but that's not the word that I'm thinking of. It needs to be, you need to have conviction in the message. Unless you're just asking a question.
There's lots of different ways, though, to tell a story or to make a point,
Yeah. But
like
that book by Stephen King, On Writing, is a fantastic book.
Because like a lot of times it can be a visual story, like a movie like Mandy, where it's so much of that movie is the visual of it.
I'm having problems over here, man.
Like Panos Cosmatos is like a perfect example of that, of like someone that doesn't have a lot of like script or dialogue into his story, but yet there's still a ton of meaning and substance to it.
Yeah. PJR says, I couldn't finish the first 20 minutes of Substance. I didn't like how they openly just ripped off Stanley Kubrick's set pieces. Maybe I should rewatch it. Just seemed gimmicky. I think you should rewatch it. I don't think they ripped off Stanley Kubrick set pieces. I think they used them. I think they used similar perspectives, but I didn't get the feeling that they were ripping off Stanley Kubrick.
Well, there's a lot of high level filmmaking in The Substance. And a lot of that has to do with
a lot of French filmmaking in The Substance.
Yeah, but there is certain things that are deliberately, and you'll find out like as the movie goes deeper and deeper into it, like things like kind of make more and more sense of why they do the things they do. But like there's a lot of old Hollywood in the movie on purpose. You know what I mean? Like it is a symbol. They're using, like she uses set pieces, things that are not exactly that, or color choices or camera angles, a lot of that to represent a thing more than, and that's why like there was a certain amount of people that got all butthurt that it's like it's a Me Too movie, and I'm like, no, it's not, and it's definitely not a man versus woman thing. The Substance.
Oh no. Yeah, sorry.
But like, and it's like because you're missing.
Unless you're talking about Hollywood, then yeah, it is.
Yeah, but you're missing like The Substance is trying to go for something much deeper than all that, and it's using that as a symbol. So it's like, for instance, the character that like all the Hollywood execs, all those guys, they're a caricature, they're a symbol. None of them are actually being portrayed in a way of anybody that really exists. And so they're being like, everything in the movie is being turned up. It's like that, turning it into that next level to make it a symbol. You know what I mean? Instead of like, what's his name? What's the actor?
Hang on. While you're thinking of it, Seja says, I think chat is broke. I'm not seeing a lot of the comments you're highlighting. I've set it to live chat. That's because we're streaming on both the Ghost Pirate Entertainment channel and the Death Rattle podcast channel. So that's why we have every single chat in our panel here on our side. But if you're on the Death Rattle side, you're not going to see the Ghost Pirate chat. If you're on the Ghost Pirate chat, you're not going to see the Death Rattle chat.
Yep. And it only shows us them in the when they come in.
So in the order we're not seeing received. Yeah.
They're all mixed together. So it's not like we're picking one and not the other, or vice versa. Like they all just come in, when you put it, they come in.
Right. So chat's not broken. It's just everybody needs to be on the same channel, which should be the Death Rattle podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
But then you wouldn't see what was if someone said something on Ghost.
Yeah, but we would highlight
no way. But I'm saying there's no way to see all of them.
Yeah. Limited Stride says, hey, there was one movie I watched a couple years back. It was something like a little alien landed and starts one by one breeding with these 3 girls. And it's super weird, but interesting. Ring a bell. No.
Okay. First off, these are the comments that drive me the most crazy. Because I can never, ever know what movies they're talking about. Like, I get these all the time. And like, I'm not wanting anybody to stop putting them, but they frustrate me every time because I'm like, I never can I don't know what it is, but they're always movies that I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
They're at some kind of Airbnb or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, at first I was going to say Evil Aliens, but the Airbnb part wouldn't be that.
I don't know. Citizen Sleeve, of the Dead films, Night, racism, Dead, capitalism, Day, totalitarianism.
Yeah, thank you. Yep. He just worded it what I was trying to say much, like, because there actually is, like, what he wrote is that they intentionally were hitting those, like, markers.
PJR says, no, I didn't say anything about Titane.
Yeah, Titane.
I did say a few films suck. Kanan, your picks are usually 85% on, dude. Sometimes I had in my 2 cents, but I said nothing about Titane. So
okay,
it wasn't
my
PJ,
bad.
So.
It was someone else. I know that their name was P. It was like a short like thing like that. So my bad. So no hate, man.
Leslie says I think
whoever wrote that.
Leslie says I think that's the third Species movie. So I don't know. Then maybe I don't know.
I don't remember the third. I maybe have seen the third one. I know I've seen the first one.
I've only seen the first Species. I had no interest seeing the other ones.
Isn't the second one where it's a guy?
I don't know.
Like the second round, it's like a sexy guy instead of a woman, or is that the third?
I have no idea. Seja bye. She says, I adore you both. Have a great night and enjoy the full moon. Yeah, that's happening at 2:30 a.m. here, so I'm not going to be able to see it. I am going to be conked out. I'm going to be not conscious.
Hold on. What's special about the moon tonight?
It's a blood moon and I think there's there's like a double lunar eclipse too. It's like super, like omen-y.
Well, I'm in California, so we don't ever see that shit anyway.
Yeah. Well, so it's happening. So 2:30 a.m. here is what? No, you should be able to see it.
No, but because the way the equator works, stuff like that usually doesn't. Like, we can't see it on the West Coast.
Oh, well.
Just anyway, like when there was like that remember the big solar eclipse, that last one?
Yeah,
like
but the Earth is flat, so everybody should be able to see that stuff.
No, it's about where you're at. Oh, yeah. Okay, I have to joke.
Yeah.
But no, because it has to do with where you're at to the equator, I believe.
Yeah.
And like Southern California can see it more, but Northern we're pretty far off of the equator. I think I might be wrong. I think that's
it's not Species, lower budget, but well done. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, are you sure it's not Evil Aliens? Because that sounds like Evil Aliens, but just the Airbnb part, I'm not sure about. Evil Aliens is fucking awesome though. It's like the most shitty, low budget movie, but it's super fun.
James says anime can do so much more than traditional film can do. Horror anime is so extreme, it could not be put to film. Yeah, the ones I've seen. You could definitely like some of the lost footage from Event Horizon is probably pretty extreme, but yeah, I mean, I just think when it comes to anime and live action, the problem is that there's only so much you can physically do, you know.
But there's also a thing where I don't know if I want to see that. Like, what I mean by that is, like, there's the crossed graphic novels, right? And they're so over the top, so extreme. And like when they tried to do that in a movie and the sadness, it like loses all, like within a matter of minutes, you're just like, whatever. It's just more gore. It's like, I feel like there's a fine balance there. What I mean is you could do it, right? You could add more or whatever, like you do in anime. But if it doesn't, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? It has almost no gore in it. And yet it's super effective. There's a lot of movies like that where it's less is more. And I think sometimes we get this attitude of like more thinking. It's like when I made pizzas for years and years and years, you'd always have people come in and they'd want to like whatever their favorite toppings were. They'd be like, I want double pepperoni, double bacon, double whatever. And you're like, okay, I'm telling you, you put that much shit on it, it's not going to actually be like you think it is. It's not going to actually taste better because the balance is what makes it great.
Yeah.
So you got to find the right balance. And so if it works for you in anime, that's fine. But I don't think, I just feel like that's a blanket statement when more isn't really going to make a better movie anyway. So like if it works in a certain anime, like this certain over the top, whatever element you're referring to, that doesn't mean that movies can't do that. It's just, it may
is
not.
It going to look good? Because like,
what's the point
I've
of it?
seen, because like the horror anime that I've seen, like there's one that has like just this towering demon that's like 3 times the size of buildings, and there's this thunderstorm going, and there's, just shit everywhere, and it's like, yeah, you can do that in live action with obvious, with CGI, but then it's gonna be CG.
Yep. But even back in the day before CG, you could do all that practically. Like you could do it in however way you think of, right? But it's just, I don't know if it's going to make it any more effective anyway. And that's what I'm saying. So it's like saying something, a blanket statement like anime is better than traditional movies because it can do things, it's like, well, I just think maybe it's just different. And like what makes anime good and special and all that, I don't know if that, like, just because you could do it doesn't mean it's going to be effective in a movie.
Yeah, just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should.
And that's why we're starting to see more and more of these little budget indie movies being some of the best every year. It's because it's like, it isn't just more. Like, that's why I think there's a lot of that, what people call like the superhero or the comic over or fatigue, the superhero fatigue, whatever. Fatigue. Yeah. And I keep saying no, because it's not about that. It's just about good movies, like good stories, good movies. And because it's like, just because you like Disney throws more and more money at it, more and more amazing CGI, whatever, that doesn't make a better movie. It just makes it a more expensive movie. Like, dude, this whole movie that just came out on Netflix, like that's insane. Have you seen the numbers? $350 million to make that movie, and last time I looked at it, like less than a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I have not seen that.
It's that new, the new sci-fi movie, that dystopian sci-fi on Netflix. It's like a Netflix original. I forget the name of it.
I don't know. I haven't seen.
But I haven't seen it. Everybody's just like, it's just.
Cindric says the alien mess. Cindric says the alien movie is called Seed from 2021. Yeah. It's on Shudder.
Yep.
Okay.
See, that's what I mean by why it irritates me, because for some reason as soon as he said Seed, I'm like, I know the movie. Like, no problem. I remember that movie. Yeah. Now I understand what he's talking about. But for whatever reason, when people ask me in a question, I can never think of what movie it is. I guess I just watched too many movies.
No.
Seed is bonkers, man.
My Chan.
No, I mean too many movies to be able to remember all of them like off.
Oh, well, yeah, rip. Probably. My Chan ground her own hand and arm into hamburger in a manual grinder to feed someone else. You can't film like in live act. Why can't you do that? You could do that.
I've seen that done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen it done practically.
Yeah. You can totally
We've seen that. We've literally seen that done practically in the 80s in a couple different movies, as well as CG. Like most recently, there was what was the name of it? It was the action kind of comedy-ish one, or there was like a couple of them. The Kingsman. Was that Kingsman 2, I think, where he grinds the guy's arm in the grinder?
I forget. I know it's been done before.
Oh yeah, like a bunch of times.
Why can't I find? I want to answer this question.
And that is something that I actually think could work in a movie as well, though. Like, especially if you lean into the tragic element of it, where they're grinding up their hand to feed someone so the person doesn't die, or, you know what I mean? Like that sad tragicness. Like, I saw one of the saddest things I've ever seen last night. I was watching this, I think it's called Sea Voyager or something like that. It's about these James Cameron funded group that are traveling the world to try to do research on different sea animals, right? Well, the one I was watching was on the humpback whale, and it is so sad, dude. This mother raises her baby in this area up until, I guess, to a certain point of age. Like, she goes like almost a year without eating because there's nothing to feed on while she's in this area. But it's like an incubator type of area where she can get in there. No other predators can get in there to get her. And she gives birth to her baby and nurses the baby until it gets to be big enough and strong enough or whatever to be able to leave and then go back to where the rest of the herd is and where they feed and all that, right? And it's like miles away. It's like 600 miles away where they have to go. But every mother does this every year. Like, they go there and get pregnant, and then they come back there to give birth to the baby and like blah, blah. But it's so sad because she finally gets the baby big enough and all that and leaves, and they're attacked by tons of killer whales. And the killer whales,
my God.
The killer whales act exactly like wolf packs. Like, they're exactly like wolf packs, but they're even smarter and more cunning. And like, they're strategic on how they do it. And like, there's a pack of them, and they yell out to other packs. So like, after a while, this one pack's getting tired, and so they yell out, and then another pack comes in. So it ended up being 18 killer whales attacking this one mother and the baby. And what they do is they don't attack the mother to try to eat her. They're just going for the baby.
Yeah.
Well, what the mother does is she gets the baby up on her back so that they can't get to the baby. And the baby's like almost out of the water. It's just up on her back, right? And she just keeps trying to swim. So the killer whales come in and they keep knocking the baby off. And eventually, if they can get the baby off long enough, they grab the baby and pull the baby under. And the babies can only hold their breath for like a minute or so. And so they drown the baby and eat the baby. And it's like, Lord. This battle goes on for like, I don't know, like hours. Like, the mother just keeps fighting and they knock the baby off. She dies down, gets it on, keeps going back. It's so sad, but it's like, at the same time, like the one researcher says, she's like, everybody's got to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is the cycle of life. Like, this is nature. Like, and they could tell this mother is had at least 18 babies. So she's done this at least 18 times. Like, there's no way of knowing how many of those were successful, but it's just like, and then she mourns. Like, once the baby's dead, she goes deep, deep down underwater, like super deep, and just basically doesn't drown herself, but almost does. She just basically goes down there in sadness and just like floats deep down in the water.
So why are you telling this story?
Just how sad and tragic like real life and real world stuff can be. And so like, that's why that grounding at the hand, that's why I feel like that would work in a movie. Whereas like a lot of these over the top things wouldn't work. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's so gross or a special effect you couldn't do, but that tragicness of that is what would make it work.
Yes.
You know, the tragicness of like grinding up your own hand to feed, you know, whatever you need it, like to keep somebody alive or whatever. I don't know the anime, so I don't know exactly why she did it, but
yeah.
And it's like, that's what it's like, the story, the meaning, the tragicness of it is what makes it work. So it's like, it could be real life, the same things that, you know, with a well, you know what I mean? It's like the same element, the same.
Just so long as the story is well told. If it's a good story and good characters, you can get away with a lot of stuff, and and that stuff will be more impactful.
But that's what I was getting at is that over the top thing is not what makes that work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like these whales. I'm not a whale. I'll never be a whale. I have nothing in common with a whale, but that core thing I can still relate to. That tragic sadness or whatever I can still relate to. It's why that would work, not because of the special effect of grinding up a hand, but
Right. Abraham says, was stop motion a small budget movie? And then he says that was a good movie. I disagree, but I don't think I don't think it was. I don't know how much it was. It made less than $1 million.
It was under $1 million.
Was it? Because it made under $1 million in the box office.
Yeah, but that was a Shudder IFC thing, so it's more about Shudder, like being on Shudder than in anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's just like most of the Shudder IFC movies, if they make anything from the theatrical run, that's a win, because they're making the movies to be on IFC, AMC, Shudder.
Yeah. All right. We got to get out of
here. It's like the different model than like what Disney does, where it's like Disney needs a movie to make like the majority of their money being in theater. But when you're a tiny little thing or your AMC isn't super tiny, but the whole thing with AMC is they need content. So they buy these movies to have as content. And then the ones they think could make some money, they'll put in theaters. But if they make $1 million in theaters, that's a pretty big win. That's why Late Night with the Devil was like such a huge deal, because it made like it wasn't like 20 million or 25 million or something like that. And it's like a lot of people were like Late Night with the Devil, and like so a lot of people were like, that's not that much money. It's like, you don't understand. Like 25 million to an IFC Shudder movie is huge, because they don't promote them at all. Like they do not play trailers for them. Like they're not promoted.
Blah blah blah. We gotta get out of here, but I'm gonna look that up. Late Night with the Devil. How much did you make?
I think it made over 20.
No, 15 million worldwide.
And it's full run?
Yeah. 15 million worldwide. It did in the upper part of its projections, so it did well.
Yeah.
I don't see what the budget was, though. It's not showing me the budget.
Yeah,
they rarely do.
Almost none of the IFC ones are more than like $1 million, but
yeah,
but most of those they buy them anyway.
Yeah,
like it's Shudder IFC, they don't produce the movies, they acquire the movies. Like Shudder IFC, they're a distribution partners is basically what it is. So like it's a little different than A24, where a lot of A24 they're just distributing, but there are a number of A24 movies where they're like Blumhouse, they're producing them as well.
Yeah. James,
I know some Shudder movies are.
James, some of them are produced. What do you mean I'm not on Shudder? I am on Shudder. I have a Shudder subscription. I don't know what you're talking about. But we gotta go. It's 10 o'clock.
I know. I haven't fucking eaten.
I need to. Yeah, I'm getting tired, and I'm like I gotta clean up. Like I haven't.
Yeah, I had to watch you over there eating your fucking amazing fucking
Greek my food. Mediterranean spaghetti and meatballs. It was so good, and I got lamb too. They gave me lamb.
Yep, I'm going to go get some fucking Greek food right now myself.
Hell yeah! Well, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thank you for sticking around. And
this has been one of my more favorite. Because, like, I love when we talk social issues without getting political. I fucking hate politics, because that to me is not relevant. Social issues are relevant.
Yeah.
But, like, when you get political, it's like a game. It's like my team versus your team bullshit. But that's not what matters. It's the social issues.
If you're talking about the Hellgate, it's not out yet. That's why. I have 3 meetings at Cannes this year.
Oh, they're talking about why your movie's not on Shudder.
Right. It's on it because it's not out yet.
Yeah.
I'd love, listen, I don't know.
But how Shudder works is it's not like DJ would apply, like how it works.
It's not like I would submit it to Shudder and they would go, yeah, we want it. And
no, they go to film festivals. Like when DJ, that's why the goal is to get the movie at film festivals.
Right.
You know, unless you can get a partner even before then, and then it's like whatever. But if you don't have like what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these movies, that's why I always say like it's a 2023 movie, but it was released in 2025. Everybody's like, well, why are you saying it's a new movie? It's like, well, they made it in 2023, then it went to the film festivals and then got picked up by someone for distribution and put out in 2025. So like a lot of these movies, like right now, we just had South by Southwest. There's a number of movies there that don't have release dates yet because they haven't been picked up by a distributor yet, even though the movie's made. Like some of them do. I think most of the South by Southwest movies do have release dates. Dude, everybody's freaking out about that one movie.
Let's talk about it next week.
They're saying this year's The Substance.
All right, we'll talk about it next week because we gotta go.
I know I'm starving. I need to take a shower still.
We gotta say goodbye. Please subscribe to the Death Rattle podcast. Watch us on the Death Rattle podcast, please. That's where we want everybody to be. And
if you had any other things that you wanted answered or whatever, continue the conversation. Just leave it in the comments.
Just comment
on the video.
We will do our best to respond. It might take us a couple of days. Sorry, but we will try to respond. But anyway, that's
especially if it's on the Death Rattle, you're going to best chances of getting a response over there.
Right. Okay. So thanks again, guys. See us next week. Same time, 7:00 Eastern, 4:00 West Coast, and wherever you are, we got a couple of UK people in the AM. Thanks for staying up. Take it easy, guys. Peace.